session 4, right?
Nice.
So for listeners, viewers, Tim is out. He got called into work, so we're all here though. Everyone's back from vacations.
For now.
For now. Dun, dun, dun. I know. June. It's like that. June, July is always like every year. It's cyclic. Like something happens. In this case, Sarah has to take her fucking bar. You know.
Gosh.
How dare you advance
I
your
know.
life? Oh.
Yeah. But you got the job, which is awesome.
I did. I'll be a city attorney now.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
It's a big deal.
Yeah.
So I kind of call you for like traffic tickets and shit.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know what I'm supposed to do.
Is it like a prosecutor?
Maybe if you want like the sidewalks fixed, I can do that. I'm not sure.
It's like potholes and stuff.
It's
call
not
you.
prosecutor though.
Okay. But you represent the city.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
You're starting under a good regime. I mean, mayor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am the law.
He's anti-cop. You just cut the budget for the police by like
He's not
27%.
anti-cop, okay?
He cut 27% of the budget out. He's fair, whatever. Regardless, Sarah got a job, which is good. By the way, I also disabled comments on all videos, so nobody will be harassed if you're concerned about that. We do get some weird comments sometimes on YouTube.
Oh, really? Like what?
Typically people just being assholes. So I disabled all comments on all videos from now on because I don't know about you, but I'm not interacting with people's comments on YouTube. It's just there to be there.
I didn't even know they existed.
They do. Did you listen to last week's episode?
No.
Okay. We'll have, speaking of which, we'll have all of our future episodes now on, it'll be now hosted at dark.zweihander.game. Which will link to videos, it'll link to the MP3, and they'll be available. They'll be public and available for free.
People are just commenting about how good we look and how they're jealous.
Yeah.
That's how mean they are.
Mostly
Yeah.
jealousy about like our kick-ass setup and the amazing players we have.
But what about if Haichu wants to comment and say, we'll totally sponsor you?
Well, hi, you if you're listening.
Marketing is Zweihander.
We've said this many times.
You can email me at m4moniker@gmail.com or dfox@amuniversal, and we will gladly take your sponsorship for High Chews. Because those High Chew sunglasses, I told you last, those High Chew sunglasses are the shit. They're like super high quality. They're like expensive sunglasses. They're not like dinky. Put your sticker on the side. They're really good. So good job. Good job.
Nice.
Well done,
High
High
Chews.
Chew.
Speaking of High Chews.
I like the hands.
Have you ever hit into one
Such
right
Form
now?
Memento Mori is sponsored by High Cheese. I really want that sponsorship. So we played last week. Sarah wasn't here. Kay, who else? We were all here last week, right?
No.
No,
That's not.
that's right.
Oh, that's right. Mike was in Florida,
Flow Rida.
hanging out with Florida
Yep.
In
With
his-
Hurricane
in his-
Elsa. Or
in
Tom
his
Crumple's store.
chromed out Bugatti.
Yeah.
And meet in Miami. I think we talked about this
Pitbull.
too. A Pitbull. He's got one of those too. I saw Pitbull's chromed out Bugatti when I went to a Miami Heat game many moons ago. We were on the floor. I saw a Vanilla Ice in the back because we got flown down to do a thing for a client. It was stupid. Anyway, I saw the chromed out Bugatti. It's the shit. And I saw Florida. So I'm assuming you probably weren't with Florida and Pitbull in Miami.
Yeah. Of course.
What'd you do in Miami?
Did a whole lot of the going to the beach and doing nothing.
That's a good plan.
Yeah. It's solid. Go there for like 4 to 6 hours a day.
Too human to lift a finger, right?
Yeah.
Well, welcome back. So we're going to start playing, and I think we should recap what happened last game session. Or actually, we should do initiative first. Whoops. We should do initiative.
Oopsie.
We should do this in order, like how we're supposed to. Sarah, you're the initiative.
Bitch.
You're the initiative bitch. That's right. Sorry. It's a non-gendered insult.
Is it?
I mean, Nick was it
You.
last time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't we rename it like it's you're the initiative queen?
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Oh.
But Nick is the pop bitch. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, we can't have two bitches.
You can never have too many bitches. Not in my opinion.
No, I had to bring shit or Cheez-Its.
So there's a Dwight up there, but there's no Dwight.
Don't
Do I need to erase all this
And no
put them in
Wilson.
order?
No, just take
Okay.
take people's numbers down on the initiative board real quick, and then reorder it.
Okay.
Which one's initiative again?
It's a
D10.
D10, and then you reference your initiative score on the second sheet.
Page 2, top left.
It's true.
It's right there.
Oh, there we go. 14. Okay. Sarah or Eaglesdov is 14.
Hiram is 11.
Sabella's 15.
Oh, we don't have Lester on here, do we?
Lester's a 16.
How dare you?
How dare you?
Shackles is 12.
Ooh, we're all different numbers. I like it.
Nice.
Wow.
So just
Good job, Mike. You get all the
Good.
credit for that.
now you have to reorder everybody by name and number.
What?
Yeah, you have to list them by top to bottom.
That's what I just asked you.
Highest
If you wanted.
Yeah, just write the numbers down, then reorder everyone.
Yeah, well, that's what I asked you. If you wanted me to put them in the names down, and you told me to
Sorry.
erase.
This is why
I'm
you
sorry.
have a professional do it.
Yeah, that's why I'm
It's
a
a-
professional like no.
If you're gonna be
I've
the
never
initiative
messed it up.
queen,
Well, now I gotta ask everybody all over again.
no, you don't. You just write down what you do is you look to the right, where the white is. Just write down Lester on the right, top right, all the way to the top.
Yeah.
Just write down Lester, and then write down who's next equals Dob,
Okay.
then Sabella. Yeah,
Wait.
there you go.
Okay. But
That's not right either.
It's Sabella after
LS.
Lester.
This is entertaining.
You'll get accustomed to it. Everybody goes through this. You're still
Aw.
learning.
Chuckles.
thank you.
Chuckles.
And then Hiram.
And
You
Hiram.
should have seen me when I was learning to be
I'm
pop
a
bitch.
lawyer, not a mathematician.
So then just erase everybody.
Lisek.
And then rewrite it?
No, just leave it like that. That's fine. Do we know everybody's name?
No, I'll just do it.
Yeah.
You can keep going, and I'll do this one.
Okay. All right. We'll wait because you weren't here last game
16.
session.
Thank you.
Sabella. I wrote it as Sybella.
It is why.
It is Y?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't care so long as we know,
Right.
but yeah. It's
Well, I made a
SY.
trailer for our game.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that might be important then. Yeah, it's Sybella.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Sybella.
Yep. You got it.
Crushed it.
And Hiram.
Hiram.
Perfect, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And just put the numbers beside it.
Yep, I know that part.
Rome's in the name. That's what, you know. You like drinking.
It's in the name. It's in the game.
It's,
It is.
it's down the hatch.
Alright.
So, like a
So,
rum tasting contest or
next time,
Huh?
the rum tasting.
what will be helpful is if you can.
Times.
My recommendation is really write the initials and write it small on the bottom, and then rewrite it from top to bottom. Leave a little bit of space between it so we can put in any enemies you may fight.
Mhm.
But you're fine now. That's perfect.
We
That'll
can
work.
put an arrow in if you.
Yeah, we just do boop. The smart thing to do would be a
3
little,
times I've written this, you could have just said, leave a
the,
space.
But
probably the
we
smart
messed
thing to
up.
do is actually just to get plates, like
magnetic plates with our name
Yes.
on them.
Yeah. How about I'm gonna add that to my list of things for the
No.
game room because we need
Why
more.
makes sense?
That's what I do with my other game. Is I have that, and then you can just
I used
move
it
the
once.
magnets.
It is nice.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah, I'll get magnetic nameplates. Let's roll for coins. Everybody roll 1d6. Remember, if it lands on face 6, I get it. If it lands on 1 to 5, it's yours. What fortune do we have? Oh, son of a gun.
3-3.
6.
Yes!
Yeah.
Okay,
The betrayer.
so I get 2 misfortune. You get 1, 2, 3, 4 fortune so far. If you need books, they're here. I don't think anyone on camera can see. Flames of Freedom. Everybody needs to be very, very jealous of our 4. I'm going to show everyone on the video.
Frames of Freedom.
Frames of Freedom. There's
It's
4.
thick,
There's
too.
technically 4 copies. I just want to do this like Flames of Freedom. So last game session. Let's walk through what happened. Anybody remember where we left off?
We left off going into the gambling parlor.
That's right. So we picked last game up at. We assumed that Hiram was already in Aramore's parlor,
Yeah, that's the name of it.
and that everyone else was entering inside the parlor. Because if you recall, You had saved Chief Magistrate Evelyn Goodchild from being for having her dog absconded away, dog-napped by one of the river rats. She now owes you a favor because you gave her your real name. So you all decided we need to get to Aaronmore's parlor because that's clearly where the river rats are at. And what happened inside the parlor?
What didn't?
Hijinks happen, I know that.
Yeah.
It was a caper for sure.
Well, Chuckles and Wilson went and started betting at a table at blackjack, I think is what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's what we were doing for a while we were kind of casing the joint. And then there was a guy that we noticed that was standing in front of a curtain that had a Zweihander on his back. And Hiram decided that he would just go up to the curtain and ask where his uncle is.
Right, because we know that Hiram Aramore is the nephew of Tilligan Aramore, the man who owns
Aramore's
parlor.
yeah.
Self-same, yeah.
Yeah, so they basically told him, fuck off. And so he didn't really give up that easily, but didn't really get too many places, and then decided to just try and walk in. So then they manhandled him and threw him out.
No, he asked for my purse, and I told him to fuck off.
Oh, okay. So
yeah.
it was the other way around.
Right.
Okay. Then they threw him out, and
But Tilligan came out for a second to
yeah,
try to stop him.
yep. So we were able to confirm that Tilligan was still there. Just really wasn't in charge at all.
Mm-hmm.
And meanwhile,
What'd you learn about the river rats?
they always walk in pairs. Remember that.
They took
Somebody
over
else
the
will
gambling
pick up?
den.
Yeah. What happened, I'm sorry?
They took over the gambling den, and their bosses were the ones that were in the VIP room, which is consequently the one behind the curtain that was getting guarded.
Their bosses are named the nose, the teeth, and the whiskers.
The insert facial parts, yeah.
Yeah.
And that the new dealer was friends with Wilson, so he actually got to talk to him about it. And apparently, like, they've been threatening all the dealers and stuff, and they're running the schedule and everything for the gambling pit now.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of moved are taking over Tillian's business.
So we know the river rats have made their way into Aramore's parlor. Excuse me. I lost my voice today, so I'll be eating cough drops the entire time. Yeah, so the river rats came in. They took over Aramore's parlor from Tilligan, and they're kind of got the run of the show, essentially. In the Eternal Night, this is kind of what they decided to do.
Did you find out what they were doing with the dogs?
Sort of.
Sort of. What else happened?
So after Hiram got thrown out, the dealer that was dealing for Tim, shift ended. We met him outside. We ended up borrowing. He let us borrow his work outfit. So Tim was able to get in through. He didn't go through the back door. He went through the front, and then
He dressed up in the uniform, and you put him in your costume or your
Right.
disguise kit.
Yeah. So he goes in. He just goes straight into the kitchen, and then he found the dog with the. He found a dog in a cage in a storage
Well,
room.
didn't he also snatch a key?
Yeah.
Someone did.
Chuckles did
He
a distraction.
snatched the key during the big
The
distraction.
heist.
Yeah.
The big distraction. Shuckles caused a distraction in the floor. At that point, Wilson Thornton, not a thief by any means, managed to snatch the key off Dwight's belt. The person with the Zweihander guarding the curtain room. So he stole the key, and then he was deciding whether or not he's going to leave it out the kitchens, but he saw a storage room, and that's where when he unlocked it, what did he find?
He found the cage. He found a cage with a dog in it and a note talking about
How about just reading the note?
Oh, I'll just read the note. Okay.
Yeah, so...
To the mysterious rat royalty. Yes, you are new, but your actions have already caused a body or two to come across my embalming table. I am impressed with how quickly you got an operation together. I assume decoding this letter will be no problem for people of your talents. I'm giving you this cage and proposing a relationship. I need dogs. The reasons are none of your concern, but I am eager to get them. For each dog you capture and bring to Berrybrook Mausoleum in the cemetery behind the House of Augurs, I will give you 10 crowns. If this deal is amenable, please deliver 3 dogs as soon as you are able. I will take others after the initial delivery and inform you when I have enough. I don't care where the dogs come from or what condition they are in as long as they live. Sincerely, Chief Mortician Merle Basco.
So now we know that the river rats are working with some chief mortician in the House of Augurs, which is not... It's in Slaughter Pine, but for what reasons you don't yet know. But you did find a dog in the cage that was intended to be delivered. It was not Rufus.
Oh.
No, it was Bug.
That's
It's
right.
Bug.
That's right. What was the piece of information you learned about the guard, the Dwight-looking guy who was at the curtain? What was he holding? Do you remember?
Was Zweihander?
No, that was on his back.
Oh, what is he holding?
You mean missing a finger?
Yeah. If you remember when you went to go talk to the dock master, Horace Raines, he said that Lucky, his dog that you saw in the docks, bit some man's finger off. So that's how you kind of managed to piece together.
That's a camera angle.
Yeah. It is an angle. Whoa, that's weird, right? Pay attention to me! That's how you found out that... what was going on?
I don't know.
Weird, right? Yeah, that's how you found out that the river rats were the ones who tried to steal Lucky, steal the dockmaster's dog.
Mm-hmm.
So after that, we I think everyone decided what? Now that you have this piece of information, we kind of pick back up outside. Mm-hmm. You're out back in the alleys. You don't really know what time it is at this point.
We went back to the bar.
That's right, back to Big Corey's, that's right. I'm so sorry. Yeah. So you all reconvene at Big Corey's, and to no great surprise, it's busy. There's quite a bit of hubbubbery happening at Big Corey's. Isla never went back to her shift. She's still resting upstairs. I believe that Lady Sibyl went to go check on her, if I'm not mistaken, at some point. So, interstage left Eaglestaff. They kind of give you the lowdown on what happened. They explain all of this, essentially. 50 reward points for everybody, by the way, for that. Everybody gets 50. You too.
Oh man.
Yeah, everybody gets it.
Yes.
So Eaglesdob and Lester are back at Big Corey's pit, and you now have a lead.
Can you tell me again where you said the dogs were? What was the name of
Mortuary? Something?
Question. Who has the note? Hiram?
Berrybrook Mausoleum in the cemetery behind the House of Augurs.
It's fairly lively in Big Corey's. This is the place where you oftentimes find yourself. You're getting a bit tired. You suspect that it's about time to go to bed, although what is time anyway in the eternal night? Day, night. It's still pitch black outside from where you're at here in Bardstown. A few people kind of straggle in and out of the doors. People keep kind of really odd hours now. But Big Corey's always seems to be open. You have a generous people who tend bar and keep the food and the booze flowing. Big Corey seems to be open up at all times. But you've noticed that within Slaughter Pine in the last 29 days now, since the Eternal Night, that some shops are keeping really weird hours. None of you have a pocket watch, do you? No.
I don't think so.
Nor is there a clock inside Big Corey's. You just kind of operate on your own internal clock, so to speak. So is it daytime? Is it nighttime? You don't really know, but you know that you're all really tired at this point. You're very, very tired. If I'm not mistaken, somebody is suffering from an injury?
Last
game I was being healed from that injury.
Yeah.
I was drunk off of the medicine,
That's
telling
right.
Chuckles how much I cared about him.
That's right. How many days do you have for recovery? I think we wrote down some days for recovery.
Let's see, I got 6 days.
6 days?
For a
Okay.
busted kneecap.
Okay. So we'll assume you all rest. Everyone recovers to unhindered on your peril condition track.
Me too.
Yes. Yeah, everyone does. So it's been a little over 24 hours, maybe a few more hours beyond that since you went searching for Isla's dog. And a lot has happened in those last 24 hours. But you've got a key piece of information.
Before we go to sleep, can we take Chuckles over to the doctor and then come back to sleep?
Doctor is not in, unfortunately.
What's wrong with you, Chuckles?
Many things.
What's physically wrong with you right now?
Oh, I thrown downstairs. It's fine. Almost got cut in half, but we saved that. So, yeah, I would need to be bandaged up. Maybe have something that was dislocated put back in place. I would do it myself, but you know what they say about physical physician and heals and dice elf or something. I don't know.
What did it say?
I you know, it's, and then I go into sign language and I say, physician, heal thyself. But
Understood.
it's best, even if you know how to do it, to have someone else do it.
So some time passes. 6 hours have passed essentially when you awaken. And Big Corey's is as busy as it was before. It's not surprising to find a lot of people in and out of this place, given that they're marooned essentially in Slaughter Pine. They can't leave by ship here in Bargetown. Most of the merchant ships have it. They can't leave down the Brightwater because they can't get beyond they can't pass beyond the forest. So you can only imagine some people's coins are probably running low. You also noticed in the last 2 weeks that the prices at Big Corey's for food, the chalkboard has been marked through and all the prices have increased.
Ugh.
That includes for you all too.
So resources are getting low is what you're saying?
One could say that. The fire isn't roaring nearly as brightly as it would be here in autumn. I should say they're relying more on the light of the fire as opposed to light of oil lamps in Big Corey's. Save for when the fights happen in the pit, but right now the planks are covering the pit, so there's nothing really happening down below.
Is the doctor in?
You inquire with Big Corey herself, and she says, "You'd like to find Dr. Drake and the drugs. He keeps at the Whiskey Sawbones."
Oh, you got any coffee before I leave?
She arches a brow. "Speaking of tabs," ellipses, as she proceeds to look through her tally, as I look through what costs are.
Could have sworn I squared up. But
You
I
still
always say that.
you still owe 10. Did you stay in a private room or a common room last night? All of you. Common room or private room?
Common room.
Okay. You still owe 10p for the night.
Ugh. Alright.
How much would a private room be?
Private is 3 shilling a night.
Isla will gladly share her private room
Okay.
if people would like to do that, and she will pay for it.
Sabella?
That's right. Yeah. No, Isla, making her pay. No.
Take
Sorry, I'm
that!
Still learning.
And fuck your dog.
Still learning my character's name, but yeah, Sabella will. I was
Yeah.
looking at my note about Isla.
Yeah. Yeah, you'll be sharing a bed with one other person, whoever wants to stay there. Unless you want to sleep on the floor in the private room. And
I'll sleep on the floor.
You'll still be charged for that, by the way, 10p.
I'll sleep in the bed.
Okay. If you sleep on the floor, you wake into Peril, and you still pay 10p.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was already in Peril, but yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You'll remain in Peril, I guess is what I'm saying. So yeah, when you get a private room, you can have one other person sleep in bed with you. But Big Core doesn't allow freeloaders to simply take advantage of spare space on the floor. You'll still pay, unless you want to stay in the stables, which is 2p. It's entirely up to you.
Wouldn't be the first time.
Do I need to subtract my money here?
Yes, 10 pennies.
But I do need that coffee.
Oh, she's staying with me then.
Oh no, you're
Yeah,
fine. You don't
we're sharing.
Yeah, you don't
We're
spend anything.
It's 10 pennies a night each.
Mhm.
Okay.
So the answer is no. You don't need to spend anything, Sarah, because you're staying in Lady Sabella's room.
Yeah.
Oh, she's got the tab, huh?
Fancy private room. Now that we've settled all that, aye, Dr. Drake can be found in the Whiskey Sawbones in the Dregs. Just take the roads here, northeast, head your way down through Bargetown, past the Dinger, she says. You know the Dinger is like the giant bell that dominates like the bridge leading out of the city. Past the Dinger, find your way that way. It's just south of Market Hill. Be wary, though, she says. Rapscallions, other people afoot in the dregs. No burrow in Slaughter Pine, older or poor than the people there. She smiled.
Yep, I know. That's where I'm from.
All of you know that the dregs, this borough in the city, is basically where people who... Well, a lot of people who like work menial jobs on the dregs, but also it's a place where a lot of pickpockets and burglars and other criminals run away to, typically prior to the Eternal Night. You can only imagine what's happening there since the fall of the Eternal Night. Yeah, the fall of the Eternal Night. So
With Rapscallion afoot, it's good to keep friend at hand.
Or another rapscallion.
Okay.
Well, probably best if we get going then. I think Chuckles, you probably need to at least be seen at this point.
Wait, really?
By the doctor?
Oh. Okay.
What did you think I meant?
As I knock on my mask.
I mean, that one's up to you. I didn't put that on.
you all gather and you leave. Unless there's anything else you wish to do here at Big Corey's.
Coffee.
Yeah, coffee will be included. Room
Okay,
board.
okay.
Yeah.
Eaglestop's gonna put her neck scruff on.
Okay.
Does that move me up to?
Yes, move
Okay.
around. Imperiled, you know, 100.
Why is not ostentatious on you?
It looks good on me. It looked terrible on you.
Well, I can't. I'm not going to do facial expressions because you couldn't see it. Yeah, you'd see his pale blue eyes like dart around.
They're a bit expressive.
Yeah,
Should just wear a mask.
yeah. Maybe I should just get. Mike offered for me to get the faceplate to his metal helm
Yeah.
and just wear that the
Just-
whole time.
That'd be so annoying.
Right.
Yeah.
So we
Yes.
turn to the city, where already it's it's raining. Unsurprisingly for autumn, not the first time.
I thought you said there hadn't been any clouds or anything.
You can't see clouds; it's pitch black out.
Oh, okay.
In fact, the night, the within 12 hours after the Eternal Night came, there was like a massive rainfall over the city, and you're walking across gravel and clapboard roads, passing through Bargetown. Who has the light?
I've got one.
Remove that pint of oil. So you begin to head toward the dregs, and it's like I mentioned before, like Were it daytime, were the Eternal Night not here, getting from Bargetown to the Dregs it'd be a matter of 15 minutes on foot, even in heavy traffic. There's no traffic really on the roads, and it's pitch black night. It's like walking through a labyrinth. So getting there takes a little bit more time than you would anticipate. There are no street lamps illuminated here, even in Bargetown, although you can hear that there is still some level of commerce happening in the streets. People are still trying to keep to whatever schedules they may have had before. So you can see a few dangling lamps kind of swinging back and forth as a few carts pass by, moving much slower than they normally would, fortunately for all of you, because most cars just barrel through Bargetown, not a care for anyone walking in the street. But taking great care not to run anybody over or to fall or trip or break an axle. The people of Bargetown, at least those who are still employed, are doing their thing. But by the time you get to the Dregs, the stone and wood buildings of Bargetown kind of slip away and disappear, including most of the light, until you come into this place that's filled with ramshackle lean-tos, sheds, and fragile buildings in a constant state of rigged disrepair. Eventually, you find your way to a place that you know simply as the Whiskey and Sawbones. If there's a surgeon in the city you need to fix your face, this isn't the place. But if you need a musket ball pulled from your gut or to be stitched up with no questions asked, Dr. Drake is the person to go to. He caters to all manner of questionable types in the city. You walk inside, kind of shaking the water off of your cloaks. You can see the dapper and well-dressed, who's the guy from Gone with the Wind, the main character? Errol, it's not Errol Flynn, but we were playing the main character, the main guy, and I can't remember.
Picture him.
Yeah, he has a pencil-thin mustache. Yeah, we'll pretend it's Clark Gable. He's a pencil-thin mustache, perfectly greased and coiffed hair right down the middle. He's got a nice kind of three-piece kind of woolen suit on. You come inside. You know him. He knows you. Once again, no questions asked. He will attend to whatever injuries or any healing you need for a price. We need not roleplay this out. We can just simply brush past it by simply spending some money. So, anybody need to have injuries treated? Any healing?
Yep.
Friedland? Okay. So, having difficulty finding this for some reason. He's not a doctor, so it's not a house call for a doctor. It's going to be, we'll sue 5 brass.
Okay.
And you'll move up 2 steps
Okay.
on the damage condition track. As you pass the coins over, he will bandage you up. He will say that if you're looking for other means to treat yourselves along the way, I would recommend in Market Hill to go to Be Prepared. As he raises his finger. You know the place, Be Prepared. Or Be Repaired, as it's called in the city when somebody speaks about it.
No, I think this will do. It is all I need.
Should you have need of any quills, writing kits, any other means, Buchan's bureaucracy is also in Market Hill. And if you need apothecary, go to the Honey and Wolfsbane.
In Market Hill.
He nods. 'Tis where most of my supplies come from.
Something tells me we should go to Market Hill.
Well, at the very least, we need to go to the Augur. Or near it.
As I pat, Bug, who's probably next to me at this point.
What does Buck look like?
Didn't you say it was a little rat terrier type?
That's
Small
right.
but vicious dog.
Yeah, you found in the cage, you found a dog that they've named Bug. A little rat terrier that Lady Sabella's taking with her. Now, so soggy and wet from the rain outside, probably looking more like a rat than a dog. It's a vicious animal. Where will you go from here?
Oh, while we're here, I'll ask him about if he's familiar with the chief mortician, if he knows of him. Since he heals a few people, and I'm sure he's maybe proclaimed a few people dead. He may have some sort of relationship with them.
That's a great question. Go ahead and roll a challenging rumor test.
All right.
Can I potentially assist on that?
Sure, how you knew that?
We have 41.
Try to recall things I might have heard in a different part of town since he's from the Dregs and I'm from Mount Sawdust.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
There you go.
Oh, that'll do it.
Being from the Dregs.
18.
Nice.
That's a success.
Nice. He says that Merle Bosco, why, he's chief gravekeeper of the city.
You know much about him?
And he has an important position, although I don't believe he and his superior get along all that well.
Well, we know each other. I got some information about him. I want your opinion on it.
He kind of holds his hands up. I need not know any more. I am simply your physician.
Not here to gossip. I get it.
When you say his boss, who do you mean by boss?
Oh, the Chief Augurs, Celsnia Turnlip. She is the chief priest of the custodian in the city. Very important position. The chief gravekeeper, important as well, but second to Chief Augur.
Just be careful around him. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not trying, like I said, you don't want to gossip, but be careful around him.
He gives a slow, long smile. I think there are bigger fish in the dregs to fear than some pale mortician from Market Hill. He smiles. He straightens his cravat.
You've been warned. That's it.
Well, just out of curiosity, do you happen to know if he's got any other interest than, well, obviously, like burying people and things like that?
Man said he didn't want to gossip.
Well, just in case.
If you wish to continue pressing, you'll need to roll a charm test. Where are you from? Mount Sawdust?
Yep.
It's like challenging.
I'll try one.
To win him over.
You said challenging?
Mm-hmm.
So 40. 18 will do it.
Nice. Other interests? Mostly attending to grieving widows and husbands despondent at the death of their wives. His position is well ranked. He tends to get along well with the people of the city, is my understanding. A few people have unfortunately passed from my table to his, so we have certainly exchanged pleasantries in the past, but nothing otherwise queer or strange about him.
Okay. Well, I know you don't want to gossip, but just one last question, and you can tell me to, buzz off or whatever if you want. But you happen to know much about the river rats? I mean, I assume you've probably had a few people come across your table from them.
Lady Sibella, I make no judgments. One need only look around beyond the walls of my Barbary to see the indigent and the poor that swell to the dregs. People who are desperate. I would not judge man nor woman for taking up a life of crime when there is no work to be had in Bargetown. Their coin spends the same.
Of course.
As easy as any night watchman's. You get a clear feeling that he doesn't really care which side of the law anybody's on when they walk in the door.
I was just curious if you'd heard anything, but no, of course, no judgment. I mean, we don't even have a son. There's not much to judge right now.
He nods.
Dark hides a lot of things.
What I can tell you is that since the coming of the Eternal Night, some people have taken advantage of the situation. I mean, when one has nothing to lose, what does one tend to turn toward? If there are no jobs to be had in Bargetown, and Horace Raines has let his entire staff go, poor planning on his part for not putting money back, but what else would one do when one has nothing to feed the mouths of their own children or husbands, or wives for that matter?
It's true. Now, I was just curious if you might know, say how many, or, that kind of thing.
There are 7,000 souls in Slaughterpine, and quite a few people work in Bargetown, stevedores, bridges, caulkers, sailors. Your guess is as good as mine, but I cannot imagine you can throw a stone very far in Bargetown without hitting a river rat at this point. What workers are to be had?
True.
I was even told that he let go of the people who patrolled the docks themselves. There's only 2 of them left, is my understanding.
That's what I've heard too. Well, obviously, you have your business to tend to, so we should probably get out of here. But, oh, you know what? I never thanked you for giving us that health kit. And she hands over a silver.
Of course, my lady. I am here to serve.
Yes.
He takes a short bow.
And hopefully we don't meet again, but, if we do.
My doors are always open.
I don't reckon you can point us in the direction of the cemetery, could you?
Market Hill? He comes to the door and he opens it, and he gives a broad smile to a young, small woman who's actually sleeping on the porch underneath some blankets. You see that she's not the only a homeless person sleeping on the front porch of this whiskey sawbones, but he doesn't seem to mind. He simply smiles. He points out in the darkness. You'll find a sloping hill up that way toward Market Hill. When you stare out toward the darkness, you can actually see small burning globes of light way out there. Follow the street lamps. You will find the House of Augurs.
Well, thank you again. And, good luck, and hopefully you're not too busy.
Tip of my hat to you if I had one.
Good morrow to all of you. He smiles. You head back out in the rain. It's miserable.
Well, I guess we're off to the House of Augurs.
I know what they say, once your small clothes are wet and you can't get any wetter, may as well make the best of it.
We'll all head that way then.
Yep.
Is the plan to go to the Berrybrook Mausoleum, or is the cemetery, or is the plan to go to the House of Augurs?
The Berrybook Mausoleum is in the cemetery.
Mm-hmm.
I think we were gonna go to the cemetery and try setting out the dog where they stated they wanted the dogs to be left.
Which is at the mausoleum.
So you have to search in the darkness among the graveyard.
Spooky. Spooky.
Well, right as rain, just as Dr. Drake explained, there is a gentle slope covered in cobblestone that leads out of the dregs, and you see all manner of people in the dregs, kind of within their hovels, huddled around small garbage fires, burning candles in what serves as windows, literally ramshackle lean-tos consisting of driftwood and sheet metal and broken planks of wood from broken down boats near the dockyards. The people in the dregs truly live like an incredibly poor and meager existence. You see some families here and there, but other than that, as you head out the dregs, you'll begin ascending this long, winding hill. Right as about a couple hours in, the rain actually manages to lift. Fortunately for all of you. And when the rain lifts, of course, you can once again hear the yelping of dogs and the hooting of owls and the sounds of night, as it seems every day or every night is always night. The sound of the cicadas, the sound of the crickets intermingle with the cicadas. The songbirds are confused by the change. You look toward the sky, and although the air is damp and wet, and you can smell it, and you're just the water is kind of soaked into your clothes, you see no stars overhead. You don't see the mirror of the moon. You don't even see the field of stars or the martyr's tears or scattered across the world. Just pitch black night. But the lamps are welcoming as you begin heading up this slow, winding hill. And in fact, it isn't until too long, once you're out of the dregs, that the buildings turn to shops. You can see here and there on the corners, there are street corners, there are street performers and criminals in stocks and pillories lining the street. There's a lot of activity, in fact, here in Market Hill. It seems that people are going about their day as best one possibly could, I guess. But there's you can hear the sound of the market here and there. There are all manner of people all around. You know that the Night Watch actually patrols in Market Hill, so you won't be surprised to find people, or to find Night Watchmen actually in the streets, and they are dressed head to toe in plate mail. Like the Night Watch in Slaughter Pine are well armed, as are most of the merchants, given the very kind of deep pioneer spirit that runs with the blood of the people here. You yourselves be the second generation of people to come or to be born in Slaughter Pine itself. At the north end of the borough, as you're kind of making your way through the street performers and the things that are happening in the streets, you see this cold gray stone chapel standing before an old graveyard. And the graveyard is not illuminated, to be clear. There's nobody in the graveyard. It's just pitch black. But that cold stone blue building is the House of Augurs. It is a place of dreams and of passing and of the dead. It's the chief temple to the custodian. And even at this distance, you can see the priesthood of the custodian interacting with people in the street. They're typically called augurs. That's what their title is. And they interact with locals, as you can see a few body wagons being drawn toward the House of Augurs. But adjacent to it is this graveyard. And beyond that, you can see the near pitch black shadow of the palisade. But what's the capital P palisade, the wall that surrounds all of Slaughter Pine. It rises almost as tall as the House of Augurs itself. So the question is, where are you going to go? Because you can either go direct to the graveyard to go find the mausoleum, or you go to the House of Augurs. Given that Merle Basco is the chief mortician or gravekeeper of the city, he could be in a House of Augurs, he could be in the graveyard, you don't really know. What are Eaglesdow's thoughts on this?
Eaglestop doesn't want to be around all these crazy fanatics of the martyr. It's giving me...
Custodian.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I want to go to the mausoleum instead. I just don't like the vibe of all of the custodian fans. I like a little bit of a darker religious vibe.
Everyone else seems to be dreadfully quiet. Maybe it's because you're so close to the graveyard.
No, well, I say we head that direction. That's where the note said to meet up. So he's expecting someone to be here.
So we try and do like trap. We take, this man and we put in trap. We entrap men.
What are we gonna do with them once we trap them?
We'll just figure it out.
We'll,
Like we always do.
We'll ask him a couple questions.
Well, there's really two options, honestly. It's either we trap him and then we capture him, you know, ask him questions, or, and I don't like this because it's possibly, and she kind of like pets Bug, who's she's got like tucked down under her cloak to keep him out of the rain from before. Or we let him take him and follow to where he might be storing the dogs. If he is keeping them alive. So those are kind of the two options. Because
We could offer to trade dogs. This one for Bug and be on our way, right? Think that'd work?
we don't even know if Rufus is still alive.
Or yeah, Rufus.
There will be one way to find out. I mean, we say, hey, we trade dog. And you'd be like, dog no longer alive.
And then what?
Whatever you say, leader.
Great.
Are you willing to trade Bug for Rufus?
Yeah, Sabella kind of pets him.
Well, I mean, I ain't particularly attached to this one, but I don't know.
Well,
I do think that he is cute as Bug and Cloak.
but we don't know what he's doing to these animals.
Yeah. You can ask him questions. Make a deal. 6 one way, half a dozen other.
So are you trying to figure out if he's doing something bad, and if he is, are we hero? Is that what we do now?
Now, what's our goal? Is the goal just to get Rufus, or is our goal to save all the dogs?
Well, we can say the dog we gave the other day, we accidentally pulled in. It was the dog of it was Whisker's dog. We'll just lie and say it was the Whisker's dog, and he's particularly attached to it, and maybe they'll give us a trade.
What if we do save more than one dog, and we start returning these dogs to people for prices? Or maybe just the generosity of people, much like that old woman did for us when she gave us a pardon.
Yeah, I mean, we give dog back and we say, I'm here for reward. And they'd be like, oh no, there was no reward. And be like, oh, well, you no get dog.
Exactly. All I'm saying is that there's something for all of us in this. If we get all these dogs, we're gonna go through the trouble of finding this guy. We're already outing ourselves by doing that. Why not take it all away and make some money? Resources are low here. And we're no exclusion to that.
Yeah, I know. We're in middle of forest. The prices of lumber, ugh, they've doubled in price lately.
So
25%.
the thought at this point is that we're going to blackmail people to give them their dogs back. Or we just trade this one and say, screw every other animal this guy possibly is messing with. That's
We don't have to send a letter. We can talk to them.
All I'm saying is there's something to be gained here for us.
Or we put the cart before the horse, Wilson says. We're gonna solve the fucking problem in front of us. You wanna go talk about giving dogs away and shit like that?
Let's just get the dog we came for and be done with it. I don't want to get all mixed up with this.
It's true. You know, there was once a great philosopher that said, free thinkers are dangerous. So, what you say?
So here comes the truth. I'm gonna do whatever the group wants to do as a whole, because, you know, it's that whole voting thing. It doesn't sit well with me that it's possible that all of these animals are being used for some nefarious means, but if nobody else is willing to jump in, I guess we just try to trade.
And she pets Bug again and kind of like hugs him a little bit more tightly. You guys notice?
Wet, stinky, rat-looking dog.
Does not matter.
You like Bug.
Yeah?
You want to keep Bug.
Yeah?
You like dogs.
Yeah?
Like dogs.
You want all the
Like
dogs.
dogs? I like dogs.
Like dogs.
You want all the dogs to live.
Look, you're asking the wrong person if you're saying, hey, let's sacrifice or use these dogs for personal gain. You're probably asking the wrong person.
As she thinks back to Pudsey, who's still back at the pub.
So, that being said, for my moral compass, it says no and we stop this guy. But if you guys aren't willing to go that far, then I have to go with what the consensus is. Because if you're gonna make me leader, I'm not making every decision my damn self. You're gonna have to vote occasionally, okay?
I consent we save dog.
Save all dogs.
Yeah.
Alright then. And we save them.
She looks a little annoyed as she goes storming into the graveyard.
So you know, just to be clear, you know that the House of Augurs is where all of the priests of the custodian live. That would include the chief priest, Celsnia Turnlip. That would include Chief Mortician Merle Bosco. That's probably where he stays. So to be clear, though, you want to go into the graveyard and find the mausoleum. Which you can do. I'm not telling you not to do it. I'm just trying to explain the lay of the land.
So
In the graveyard is almost adjacent to the House of Augurs, obviously, because that's where they care for the dead.
I'm thinking we should probably go to the House of Augurs.
I mean, Sabella's thought is that...
Are you sure about that, Chuckles? Is that how Chuckles really feels, though?
No, that's not how Chuckles really feels.
Sabella's under the impression that this guy is obviously doing something wrong with these animals, and one, his boss probably does not know.
Yeah.
And two, he's probably not keeping them in the House of Augurs, because somebody at some point would be like, what's all this barking? So that's her thought process on it. And that's kind of what she explains why she says, let's catch the guy in the act. Because it's also possible somebody, not him, signed that paper, and then we walk in there and find out that they were using his name, and it's not him.
Yeah.
So there's a whole bunch of, well, there's no point in going to the House of Augurs. Now, if we find out it is him, then we go back to his boss and we say, he's fucking around and do something. But at this point, she's like, we need to find out what's actually happening. So that's her thought process.
So so to be clear, not to the House of Augurs, but direct to the cemetery and find the mausoleum. Okay.
And considering you had stated that the Barry Brooks was like the most prominent family in Market Hill, she assumes it's just going to be the biggest one.
That's a good point.
So.
All right. So with that, you all kind of exit stage right, heading down the cobbled road until the last burning lamp holding an oil. You know, these lamps have oil inside them, so they're constantly burning light inside them. And one of them ends over right beside the graveyard. The graveyard, it not unsurprisingly, is open. Large iron wrought gates span into this rambling graveyard of tall building of some low gravestones and elsewise. The sounds of the markets kind of die down, and in fact, most of the sounds of the city die down here in the graveyard. It's actually kind of quiet and lonely out here. Perhaps it's just the way that it's positioned behind the hills along Market Hill. But it's fairly quiet, all said and done. You walk amid these carefully laid gravel roads that wind this way and that. You can see old and new gravestones, some stone markers. Right as you come inside, there's this long, broad ditch. It's an ossuary where they toss the bones of the dead. They inter them. There's shovels stuck into the earth. There's just in general looks like the business of gravekeepers. And given since the passing of the long night, the business is booming, as they say. The people who were on the very edge of being able to survive probably have lost their lives since the fall of the dark, with the expense of living going up and other sad things just in general. But the graveyard is quiet. If you're going to look for to find the mausoleum you're looking for, Lady Sabella, you're going to need to roll an awareness test.
Okay.
Who has light? Are you using a lamp?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll attempt to assist her by looking at if she's looking at one side, I'll look at the other side.
Marking.
Double down.
Okay.
Okay. What's the difficulty?
It's going to be routine.
Routine. Okay, so that puts me to 63. No, sorry, 73. And a 17 will do it.
Nice. Well,
This likes to roll 10s.
Yeah.
It gave you a 10 too. Thank you, Flames Dice.
yeah. New flames dice. They're imbalanced.
Apparently.
Congratulations, Kickstarter backers. Your dice will always roll low. That's why I use them. So, your intuition was correct, Lady Sabella. As you move amid the graveyard, some graves have been lain with flowers. Others have been freshly buried with big mounds of dirt. Everything is kind of slightly overgrown here and there. But you find the largest stone mausoleum you can. I say it's a column mausoleum with the name Berrybrook carved in capital letters over its entrance. It's actually not far. The Berrybrook mausoleum is actually not far from the entrance of the graveyard itself. But something unusual. The mausoleum's iron door is completely broken off of its hinges,
Oh wow.
lying warped and dented on the ground.
That's unusual.
A little bit, yeah.
Any tracks that we can kind of see? Does this look freshly broken? Is there like some rust or buildup or anything on the tears in the metal?
It's a good question. You can see Lady Sabella's eyes almost grow as large as saucers, tea saucers, as you look to the earth right in front of it. These enormous bloody paw prints lead from the entrance of the mausoleum and leads further into the darkness in the graveyard, deeper within the graveyard.
Exiting from the mausoleum.
Yeah.
She's gonna point them out to everybody.
So you were saying that something didn't break into the mausoleum, something broke out?
That's definitely what it looks like, yeah. I don't see these leading in.
Someone must have put a really big dog in there.
Really big.
How big is big?
Bigger than this one.
You
Looks at Bug.
Yeah, you take your hand and rest it right inside the paw print in the mud.
I don't think this was a dog. And if it was, I've never seen a dog this big.
Is better?
Do I hear any dogs barking?
No.
I
The
only
light
need-
passes toward the mausoleum and away once again.
Let's take a look inside.
Maybe somebody should stay out for a lookout? I don't know. Okay. I guess, Lester, you have a light.
I'll strike a torch.
Spark it. You want to go inside with Lester?
Oh,
Oh, I thought
Lester's
he was
staying
staying out.
Oh, okay. Eaglestaff, make an incantation test. This test is easy.
Okay. Okay. 50
Yep.
is good.
Yep.
Okay. There's this strange taste of lemon in the air. You don't really know how to explain it, but maybe the others aren't seeing, but just at the corners of your eye, you could swear you can see greenish specks floating around the mausoleum. But when you turn toward it, they're gone. But they're always in the corner of your eye.
Okay.
Certainly something magical, so to speak.
Then, before everyone goes in, I should use my witch sight to make sure nothing's magically protected or dangerous.
Okay.
Did you say that out loud?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Oh, sure.
So what do we see?
Okay, I just need a blindfold. Do I need a roll to use the witch sight?
Unless you want to use your professional trait.
My cruel tutelage?
Yeah. Remember, you can always auto-succeed any test for a generalist spell, providing you go one step down the peril condition track willingly.
Let's do it.
Okay. You make the appropriate sacrifice as you move one step down the peril condition track, and you place the blindfold over your eyes, and that's when you see it. You look straight up in the air, and you can see the ominous night, the ominous eternal night. This distant dome of black-purple energy, like over the entirety of the sky. But that's not where you saw the flux from. You've seen this before. This whatever the eternal night itself is something dark and powerful. Not even you can understand what it truly is, but it always looks like nebulous purple energy to you. But when you turn your eyes toward the mausoleum, you sense witchstone. The smell now clicks with you. The smell of witchstone. It always smells like lemons. Witchstone, as you know, are the stones that fell from the sky during the cataclysm. Well before the eternal night came. But that lemony taste that's in the air, it lingers all around the mausoleum.
Do witch stones have any value, like magical value to them, or value at all?
They are incredibly valuable to any practitioner of sorcery.
Okay.
Not monetarily, but for your own research, yes.
Then,
Incredibly powerful artifacts.
okay. Then I want to pick those up and put them.
We don't see them anywhere. You just sense their presence.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
You sense that
That's what I
they've been
saw.
spent because you can taste this. When witchstone is spent, it always tastes like lemon. The
And-
essence of it.
Can I tell if it's like a good magic or a bad magic?
There's no such thing as good or bad magic.
Okay.
There's just magic.
Right, but
Yeah.
can I sense anything about it? I just know that witchstone's been spent around here.
Yeah. It's like imagine what you would smell like after a gun has been fired.
Right.
Doesn't matter if it's a good bullet or a bad bullet. It's just a bullet has been spent. Like your witch sight is tingling, so to speak. Yeah.
So does that mean it was recent since I can smell it?
Mm-hmm. But witchstone has a tendency to cling to surfaces. It also lingers in the air. It's less dense than the oxygen. You have a very distinct scientific understandings to some degree, or alchemical understanding of witchstone, although you've never used it, but you know what it smells like when it's been expent, and it tends to linger for hours.
So when somebody uses witchstone, are they typically doing pretty strong magic then? Like,
Getting your hands on witchstone would be a rarity indeed.
Okay.
Yeah.
can I smell if I walk closer to the mausoleum? Does the smell get more intense?
It does, yes.
Is the smell coming from inside the mausoleum?
It is, yes. Who's gonna go inside?
I'll go in.
I think
Okay.
I should go. I'll be blindfold, so I'll need somebody to guide me.
Yeah, I would take it that I'm used to seeing this sort of thing,
Yeah.
so
Sure.
I'll lead you.
Yeah. She places her hand upon your shoulder, chuckles. Lester, you're staying outside?
Staying outside.
Okay, so you're
Getting
gonna
my eyes out.
watch the graveyard then?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you look at those big paw prints and you see them kind of like meander off deeper into the graveyard.
I don't want to have to tackle that lineman.
Oof. So, you come inside the mausoleum, and as you come within, to no great surprise, the mausoleum, the door's been ripped off and warped, has these internment niches that would hold bones and corpses along the wall. The berry brooks have been interred here, but the bones are most are empty, meaning not all of the berry brooks have been buried yet inside here, been interred in here. Most people in Slaughter Pine, they don't bury the dead. They tend to burn their bones and then inter their bones into these niches and these nooks inside mausoleums, for mausoleums at least. But you can see spread all over the remnants of 3 broken steel cages, sitting twisted and half melted, like literally melted, all over, and intermingled within the remnants of these iron cages is somebody lying dead in the center of the room. Burns cover their half-robed body. And their intestines have been viciously torn from their stomach. The poor soul's blood is spattered all over the room. As you all witness this grisly scene, save for Ecclesdon, you've not removed your blindfold yet, you must all attempt a challenging resolve test. Those who are inside, at least. Lest you suffer from stress.
So, 52. Yes, this is fun.
You said challenging?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I just made it.
I missed.
27. Once again, thank you, Flames Dice.
Crit failure.
Oh, man! So, for everyone who just failed, you gain 3 corruption and suffer 9 peril. As this, unless you have indifference, this grisly scene does not settle well upon you. This person has been eviscerated amid these twisted, torn cages that are literally half melted. The air smells like burnt barbecue. It's in burnt hair. It's horrible. And that's when the smell is so overwhelming you can rip the mask off because you can't see anything else inside of here. And that's when you, of course, see this grisly scene that you were unprepared for. So you also need to make a challenging resolve test.
Where's the result?
Resolve is next to willpower. So you're trained in it.
So it's 3 corruption, and you suffer 8 peril. As you all are suffering from stress. In the case of Chuckles, however, you are also suffering from despair. You obviously you suffer the same peril and corruption, but you need to kind of decide what your despair response is going to be.
Right.
Will Chuckles be in kind of a fawning mode? Will he be ready to fight? Will he be ready to flee, or will he be just freezing in place?
I think in this particular case, since there's no clear and present danger right now, he would be in fawning mode where he is like going to kind of be protective but not brave of Ecclesdon. He's like gonna just like make sure that he's got his back like on her and his hands out like he's ready for anything, but like his primary focus is now on her.
Fair enough.
As opposed to really anything else.
Okay. So in the despair, in a fawn response, you add 2 assist dice. If you intend to help Ecclesdon during this pretty grisly scene, but every time you do, you gain 2d10 plus 2 peril and more corruption.
Sweet.
Yeah. So here's what you see. That's what you've seen. So what do you all want to do about it?
Well, since Sabella seems to be the only one that like is not stressed out or terrified at this moment, she kind of steps forward and starts looking at the body to see if there's any distinguishing marks, anything that on their person that could possibly say who it is, though I have a feeling.
Has Lady Sabella had anybody pass in her family in recency?
Not immediate family, I would say no. She probably has a fairly small immediate family.
Would she have attended any funerals like in the last 6 months?
Probably, because working in the mill or working in the mine and everything, she probably got to know a lot of people, and she's the type of person that if they were friends, she would have gone to their funeral, and with all the recent people passing more often because of the dark, I'm sure she has.
Yeah.
It would make sense.
So the person who typically presides over a funeral is the chief gravekeeper, the chief mortician, Merle Basco, the ashes to ashes, dust to dust. That's who he is. And as you look down, without a doubt in your mind, that is Merle Basco. And his face is just torn to shreds. The man is just like he was exploded from the inside out. He was torn to pieces. It's absolutely horrifying. And his skin is completely burned and charred. Like I said, it smells like burning barbecue inside here. It's fucking terrible. And you can see that despite the fact that his body is not smoldering, it's not hot, his robes have been torn, but his leather satchel that he always carries over his shoulder where his prayer book would be is still intact, although it's scorched.
She's gonna pull that off and check if there's anything else in there other than his prayer book.
Okay. So add a waterproof, fireproof leather pouch, or leather purse rather, on your character sheet.
Okay.
You kind of have to almost peel it off of his skin as it's kind of breaking off the charred.
And she's trying to not show everybody because she knows they're already freaking out, so she's kind of covering it with the cloak as she's
Yeah, it's charred and scorched. It's just kind of, you imagine whenever you get that kind of the cook on the meat, when it's cooked so quickly it just kind of turns brown and curls up almost black, you're kind of wanting to break it off of his shoulder. It's pulling bits of his flesh. It's been quickly seared and it's still attached to the leather thing on the purse.
And it seems useless at this point, but if it starts making noises, she starts coughing and things to try to cover up the noises to be nice to the other people.
What's everybody else doing? While Lady Sabella is... Yeah, you're outside, obviously, looking outside Lester Longarm, just in case. Should anything go amiss, you've got this guttering torch outside.
Well, who is it?
It's Merle.
You kind of unfasten the pouch and look inside, and you see that there are a few things burned up inside. Typically, a small psalm book would consist of really thin rice paper, so to speak, or in this case, wheat paper. But they're completely burned up. But there's a piece of smooth vellum inside that is not burned.
Attempt to read it.
Yeah. This is still somehow intact.
Well, actually, she wouldn't read it right at this moment, but she's gonna cut it because she's probably gonna wait until they get out of here because it seems like there could be danger here.
The mausoleum's walls are no larger than this room here. There's no other means of ingress or egress save for the way that you came in. As you turn around, you can see the twisted, jagged iron gates that would bar people from coming inside the mausoleum. Completely torn off the threshold.
And if there appears to be nothing really else, she's gonna try to shuffle everybody back out.
Well, if Merle's dead, then I guess he won't be paying for any more dogs, so the rats aren't gonna be taking any dogs. Case closed. We can get out of here and go home.
Well, there's a very good chance that... What if Rufus was one of the first 3 dogs and happened to be in here?
Well, maybe we could just call the watch over, have them take a look at it, and be on our way. I mean, this isn't our job.
Lester, you see them kind of filter back outside, and Lester's actually standing near one of these paw prints where he's got his boot right beside it. It's almost as long. It's almost as long as your boot.
Just doesn't seem safe around here right now.
Yeah.
Cemetery in the dark, all this spooky stuff. I don't know. We should be going. Something in my gut tells me.
Chuckles turns to Eaglestaff. Are you okay?
No, but I'll make it through.
Okay, I got your back.
So, as they're stepping out and, like, everybody's taking a breath, she's actually gonna take a second to read it.
You also see his hands are visibly shaking, like he doesn't. He's. You haven't seen him shake like this ever before. It really got to him.
You guys okay? You look like you've seen a ghost.
You could say that.
Well, I mean, I know there's dead peoples in there, but
They weren't dead. I mean, they were dead, but it was more than that. They were
So-
torn to shreds.
wait.
Oh.
Can we explain in more detail?
Merle.
Merle was ripped to shreds and burned. However, this letter is kind of interesting that it was with his stuff. So, without mincing words, it looks like he was going after the Chief Augur Celsia, and he created a Bargist with some witchstone, and that's what ripped him apart, it seems like. And then whoever this person is, who just as a friend, told him to release it in the House of Augurs. I don't think he got to the point of releasing it, and I think it released itself. So, that would appear that there is what was the colloquial term? Hellhound running around somewhere here in the graveyard. So maybe, just maybe it might be in our best interest to, I don't get the hell out of here.
Mm-hmm.
I can get behind that play. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go find the Night Watch and tell them, hey, there's a body.
No, you all flee from the graveyard. You gain 6 conflict, 6 corruption. You shrink from duty.
What did I do?
No heroes tonight.
But we live to tell the tale.
You head back out from the cemetery, and you make your way into the evening here near the House of Augurs, looking desperately for any night watch you could possibly find. And just down the road, maybe 10 minutes away as you flee from the graveyard, you see a pair of local constables who are actually loading up about 6 people in various states of bloodied state, as they're all chained individually from one another. They're being loaded in the back of a massive wagon. One of the night watchmen looks completely like there's dark circles beneath his eyes, like they've been working non-stop. The other is clearly not comfortable with the number of criminals that are here, despite the fact that they're both armed in plate armor head to toe. That's the 2 night watchmen you can see from here. They seem to break up some sort of fight, and lying in the middle of the street are 3 dead people.
Wow.
There are people kind of gathered in a circle, kind of like looky-loos, trying to see what's happening. You can see an augur who's wearing pitch black robes, like a monk's robes, that are pitch black with a hood over the shoulders. A woman with pale skin, and she's sweating profusely, and she's kind of shaking her head as she looks down, and she's right beside 2 other attendants that are with her.
Do I recognize her?
Yeah. Given that there's only 10 priests in the House of Augurs, without a doubt, it's the Chief Augur, Celsia Turnlip. She's been called here too, along with the Night Watch. This is a scene of a crime in the middle of the street in Market Hill, which, by the way, has been crime free for nearly a decade.
I'll turn to Eaglestaff and be like, oh fuck, it's Celsia.
Does she like you?
No, she fucking hates me. I don't know what the fuck I did. Actually, I do know what I did, but Doesn't matter. This isn't gonna be fun. God God damn it! I didn't want to run into her. That's the whole reason I wanted to come to the graveyard.
Do you want to hide?
No. It's just last thing I fucking needed tonight.
Because I can give you this neck scruff and you can wear it. Maybe she won't recognize you.
Wait, didn't you fucking say it's ostentatious? God damn it. No, then she's gonna notice me, so... I mean, I can't really hide at all.
Alongside the Night Watch's paddy wagon, for lack of a better term, is drawn by a single black steed. When they're loading the criminals who are in a fight here, whoever they are, they're loading them in the back. You can see a bodyman who accompanied one of the Augurs' bodymen with a single-wheeled cart as they're lifting up the dead bodies off the ground, peeling them. You can see the blood sticking to the cobblestone, and they're placing shrouds over them as to not show their faces, but their feet stick out the back of the wagon.
Can we see the body? So we haven't been able to see the bodies,
No.
so we can't tell if they've been torn apart or not.
You can see in the street, though, you can see a few broken shivs. You can see what looks like the lid of a barrel has been turned into a shield. You can see a shattered piece of shattered wooden staff. You can even see an old rusted ceremonial sword lying in the middle of the street that the Chief Augurs kicking with their foot. The two Night Watchmen are actually talking with her now, and they're having a very uneasy conversation, all three of them. Even the Chief Augur herself, she's pale, pale as the moonlight would be if the moon was even there. She's sweating profusely despite the fact that it is autumn. And the two wide-eyed, well-trained veteran Night Watchmen, they're all having a very uncomfortable conversation.
I'm gonna try to listen in, stand on the edge of where they're talking and just.
So you're gonna press through the people?
Yeah, be just kind of creepily stand there and listen.
Sure. You begin to kind of push through the people. Roll an eavesdrop test. This is a secret test for you.
All right. Eavesdrop. 54% chance to succeed. And I rolled a 54. I'll keep it.
Okay. You're not really picking up much of the conversation because people around are talking a little bit too loudly. One of the people beside you does say, they all look kind of nervous. What do you think's going on? I don't know, a fist fight with the river rats maybe? Maybe someone else? I bet it's those old bandits from the Lockwood. Maybe it's even the Seabran. I wouldn't pay no mind to it. When a man has nothing left to lose, he'll turn to violence. You all kind of hear bits and pieces of this conversation too, from the crowd. The Chief Augur at this point commences, she finishes her conversation with the two Night Watchmen. One of the Night Watchmen is trying to break up the crowd. The bodymen of the Chief Augur, Celestine, are getting ready to wheel the cart back. You can only imagine back to the House of Augurs.
Excuse me. At Night Watch, can you talk to one of you?
Yeah, the young man comes over, maybe 17 winters at best. Hey there, he says, his voice cracking. His face is covered in blood. He takes a rag. Excuse me. He's kind of wiping it free. His face is full of pimples. A rash of pimples over his face and cheeks.
Yeah, sorry to break up your evening here, but there appears to be a, how do I put this, completely torn apart and burned body over in one of the mausoleums, and I think there might be something out in the graveyard that has to be taken care of.
Isn't that typically where people are buried, out in the graveyard?
Yeah, I don't think this one was buried. No, in fact, this one was not buried. This one was, well, let's see. The injuries happened in that particular location. Let's just put it that way.
Let me go ask the captain, he says.
Yeah, you should probably do that.
He turns around and goes toward the captain, this fellow with a big whiskered mustache that sweeps out to either side. He has a broad head and many, many chins beneath of it. And they start talking. He kind of walks over. You said someone's dead in the graveyard.
Yeah, in one of the mausoleums.
There's a bunch of dead people in the graveyard.
Okay,
he
here we
says.
go again. See,
Sir, I can't handle all these people in the wagon myself.
Look, they didn't enter dead. They ended up dead while they were in it. The guy got ripped apart in one of the mausoleums by this gigantic dog that happens to be running around one of the graveyards.
But we didn't do it.
Nope.
Sosnia, he calls out.
Yeah, she's actually involved in this somewhat.
He kind of waves her over with his mailed hand, and she begins walking over, kind of wiping her brow of sweat. She has this dark, kind of unkempt hair. Looks like she's been up like for nights on end. She has these dark purple circles beneath her
And
eyes.
knowing that everybody else is stressed out other than Lester, but Lester's like whatever. Sabella is gonna like step forward and like be the spokesperson and kind of try to take all the attention to her, so that nobody else has to stress out.
The woman looks like she crawled from a crypt. That's how she's not a speck of melanin in her lineage. Her face is covered in freckles. Her hair is red as she gets closer into the light. It looks black because everything looks pitch black otherwise around here. You can't really tell faces or anything like that. Shadows are long and low when she comes into the light, like she's just sweating like profusely. Like she comes up and says, "Excuse me, the captain said you found something in the graveyard."
Yeah, it's a dead body, but it's not one that was brought in there this time. It actually happens to be Merle.
Her eyes kind of widen for what?
Yeah, Merle. He's dead.
Merle Basco.
Yeah, Merle Basket. He's dead in one of your mausoleums. He's been ripped apart, and there might be some gigantic dog that's running around your graveyard now. Don't know. I just happened upon this.
Hellhound. Equals dot yells.
She does.
Yeah. And she points.
She raises a finger for a moment, and she walks over to talk to the bodyman. And you hear it saying like,
just
yes.
win.
So is she normally that like sweaty? Like,
Yes,
okay.
yeah.
Right.
She's always profusely sweating.
Yeah. I was just.
Yeah.
Is this more nervousness or something?
No, I just didn't know if there was like something with this particular night. Something I should be picking up on. If I know her.
Yeah, that's right. The air doesn't seem sticky or hot.
Okay.
It's just she's constantly sweating.
Yeah. Okay.
The body takers that she's with, she walks over and says, "The Night Watch is going to take this lot back to the Night Watch station in Bargetown. Let's take these people back to the House of Augurs, and then we'll poll the neighborhood to figure out who they are. These poor souls," is what she says.
So what are we doing now?
The captain is with the Night Watchmen and says, "Get this lot to the station now!" And they both hop up into the wagon. The armored Night Watchmen. They swing a leg up into the top of the wagon and start lashing horse.
Does it have a
Armored
name,
guys
the
might have
wagon?
been useful.
Is it the Knick-Knack
Okay.
Paddy Wagon?
It is not, but it is a paddy wagon. It's a Night Watch paddy wagon. The people that are amid the crowd don't look just like locals. They look like some rough and tumble looking types. And they seem, and you don't typically find people like this in Market Hill. The Chief Augur returns once again. Do you mind walking back to the cemetery with me?
Yes. It doesn't seem safe. I'm going to be frank. It doesn't seem safe.
Well, you're welcome to stay here then. As for you,
Look, I'll take you, but I'm just telling you, yeah, it's probably not safe. Especially for you.
she looks around at all of you who are heavily armed, and she has her bare hands.
So Snia,
I have my bare hands.
I'll go.
No.
I'll go.
I'll go.
Yes, I'll go.
Lester's a team
I don't
player.
care. Anybody can go that wants to go or doesn't want to go. I don't care. I'm just reporting that there's a body that I think entered alive and is now dead in there.
We didn't do it.
We did not.
Hellhound.
Yeah, and a hellhound somewhere.
She nods like she understands anything about what you're talking about.
Okay, so
But before we get to that, Chuckles says hello, and she takes one look at Chuckles and says nothing. She turns back toward Lady Sabella.
how do you pronounce it? Bargast? Is that Bargast?
She shakes her. I don't know what you're speaking of. She says, "Listen,
Okay.
let's try to collect ourselves, she says. Collect yourself. Let's speak. Tell me what you saw as she's walking along the cobblestone with you. And right behind you, rattling up on 2 wooden wheels, are the body takers taking the bodies of this small child and these 2 women who were in the back of the wagon, who were viciously stabbed.
Alright, so, we came upon the crypt, the berry brook. You know the berry brook, I'm sure you know the berry brook. But anyways, we came along to their crypt and we saw the
Well, hold
crypt.
on. One moment.
Okay, here we go again.
So what took you to the Berrybrook Mausoleum? You are not a Berrybrook, are you?
I am not.
We told you we didn't do it.
Yeah,
She
he's right.
proceeds to completely ignore Hiram as he continues to interject in the conversation. You gain one more kind of corruption.
We went there because of the witch stone. It smells like witch stone up there.
She one stepping stone before the next. Let's start first with why you came to the graveyard. You were not seeing someone who had passed, no?
No.
I,
Well, not that we thought. I mean, it ended up being that, yeah, but no, we didn't think that in the first place.
I signed to Eagle Stuff. Ixnay on the Ishton way.
You sign in Pig Latin.
Yes.
I'm curious what the sign is for Pig Latin at this point.
You just say it and then say it in Pig Latin, you know.
You just spell it
Wishy-washy,
instead
I
of
think
saying
is what
it.
it is.
Yeah.
So you and your friend here, and you all, went to the graveyard.
Yes.
For what purpose?
Alright, you know what? We'll just. Why not? Here we go.
We're investigating the missing dogs.
Yes.
And she, like,
Missing dogs.
yeah, and
she
she's
says.
holding Bug under her arm still through all of this.
Dogs have gone missing, and I suppose it makes sense. It's dark out there. There's no light for them to find their way back home.
That's not the problem. They've been kidnapped, and apparently.
Dog nap?
Really? Really? We're gonna go with that right now?
That's what I said.
So dogs have gone missing, you're saying, and that
I'm
brought
glad that
you
your
to...
humor has not suffered in these hard times that you've had.
In a business such as mine. But please go on.
Alright, this one's for you.
I appreciate your great sense of humor.
There you
For
go.
you. Anyway.
Right, I understand. Anyway, so we were looking into these dogs that were missing. Your buddy Merle apparently, well, no, he's not your buddy. I found that out from the letter that I'm reading. But anyway,
He is
so
the chief mortician of the city.
Yep. Well,
Was.
He is dead.
yes.
That's what we're trying to tell you.
Let us go to the Berrybrook Mausoleum
All
heading
right, let's
once.
go that way.
She seems shocked, like genuinely shocked at this.
And so, yeah, lead him over to the
Okay.
mausoleum.
It isn't long until you get there, and
Show her the print first.
Oh, the letter?
No, the
For the plot? Well,
Put
yeah,
paw
of
in
course.
ground.
I mean, she's gonna see it at the door.
oh my, she says. She looks down.
Yeah, that one.
And she looks inside the mausoleum, and she visibly recoils at the just absolute violent end of her friend.
Yep.
I'll stay outside again. You watch.
Fuck no.
As
Terrible
soon as
death
we-
and gore inside. I'll stay outside.
As soon as we get near that body, that place of my unsettling, I'll turn to Eagle's dog and be like, is everything... And I'll actually say it out loud this time. Be like, is everything okay? You have enough to drink. You have enough to eat. You're getting tired. You need to sit down. Like, I start, like, acting really strange. As I'm obviously shaken up again.
Do you need some mandrake root to calm down?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good.
Okay.
We make tea.
Yeah. I'm gonna make some mandrake root tea for Chuckles.
Sure.
Okay, I
Well,
Just throw it in.
only if you make sure you drink too. It's good for health.
I am going to take some of the rainwater, some of the mandrake root that I have, and I find some rocks on the ground that I can put a little bit of the mixture into, and Chuckles and I both drink to calm our nerves because we're clearly shaken up.
Okay. As you proceed to take mandrake root, both of you need to make a standard toughness test.
I have no idea what she's actually giving me, even though she told me it's mandrake.
Love it.
What's the difficulty again?
Standard toughness.
Random drug.
Toughness is brawn.
61.
Okay. 32, 42.
Did you crit fail again?
100.
Oh my
Oh my
goodness!
Okay.
You want these dice?
I'm good. I got a 32. I need
Okay.
a
It
42.
doesn't matter the dice.
Well, you know that mandrake root has several things that it can do. It can help with menstruation. It can cause a reddish outbreak on the skin. It can even cure St. Anthony's fire. In strong enough doses, it's poison. So you feel calm, certainly, Eaglesdove. But
You feel poison?
but in the case of Chuckles, you treat all lightning conditions as total darkness for 24 hours.
Oh no.
You both gain one conflict for taking drugs.
What'd you say happened to him?
He's blinded for 24 hours.
So would you say that girl is poison?
You're feeling really lightheaded. You feel calm, but you're having difficulty seeing at this point, Chuckles.
Hey, what you give me?
You're calm, right?
Yes.
His eyes are completely dilated as you're preparing the tea. Shit. So back in the mausoleum itself, Celsius kind of turns away, like clearly shaken. What even brought you two here?
I told you, we were trying to find out what happened to the missing dogs, and there was a link to Merle.
Well, Basco has no animals of his own. He lives a aesthetic's life. He's a monk.
Well, I don't think he was collecting them. Pretty sure that it had to do with this.
She refuses to turn around and look inside. I don't understand.
I hand her the note, the translated note.
What is this?
This is what led us here. We found this. The river rats are taking dogs. We tracked them down and found a dog, and this note was on it.
This is his hand. I mean, this is his writing.
Yeah, and this was the dog.
She's petting Bug again.
I've read many correspondences from my dear friend over the years.
You say friend. Far be it for me to speak ill of the dead, but, well, the second letter kind of points out that may not be the truth.
Well, there was Merle was my teacher, I suppose you could say. He was, for all intent and purposes, to become chief augur of the house when the time was right. But he was not close to the custodian in the same way that others were. I don't know, maybe he felt slighted when I was promoted.
Yes, he did.
I never thought that he would conspire toward vengeance, though. She looks toward the skies as expecting to find the stars and the moon, which are symbols of the custodian. Typically, those of the custodian, they speak to their god in dreams. She says, I remember in my months before I was elected by the other augurs to become chief augur, Master Basco had confided in me that the custodian stopped speaking with him. That he no longer felt her grace. He would preside over the dead. He would see to the bodies. He would do his best to dress them as to present them as they were still alive to the families. He seemed firm in his faith, but he confided in me, drunk one night, that he felt she no longer spoke with him. I pay no mind to it, but it's clear over time that the other augurs saw this too. It became very self-evident. And when I was promoted, I felt horrible. I mean, the man was Master Basco was my teacher. I promoted him to chief gravekeeper, if only entitled to make him feel like he was still valued by the house. But I suppose this strange and tragic event of the Eternal Night has... I don't know why he would do such a thing. The man was not blessed by the custodian whatsoever. You speak of summoning hellhounds, but the man cannot even conjure the pettiest of magics.
Well,
As I said, he lost the grace of the custodian completely.
How?
somebody helped him.
What do you mean?
Like that.
And she will, she's gonna keep the note, but she'll allow her to read it.
If you'll permit me. Merle, I know the pain you feel. The custodian took your gifts away when you were a young man, and for what? For relying too much on the gifts she gave you? All you did was follow her teachings. The goddess snatched your promised future away and gave it to Celsnia Turnlip. How would the person who wrote this letter even know this?
Maybe he got drunk another night.
But I offer you a new path. I represent a more righteous god, one who acknowledges and revels in the truth of the future. Everything is ever-changing. If you show me you have the strength to take your revenge against your enemy, Celsia, she stumbled with these words, then he will allow you to wield his magic. Isn't the death of the Chief Augur what you truly want in any case? This bag contains a special powder, an essence of witchstone. Feed it to any dog, and that canine shall become a Barghest. It's a weird word. A hellhound who will obey your every command. Unleash the dog in the House of Augurs. They will make Celsia pay. Then he will reward you. Truly, a friend. Well, Basco had no friends in the city. To be chief gravekeeper, his most of his time was spent in his craft. The only people that Merle Basco interacted with in the city were the body takers, but they're all young and certainly not willing to strike a friendship with a man who's almost 4 decades older than them.
I don't know who the friend was, but I assume that it's somebody who also didn't wish you the best. But though it is fun to sit and try to figure out potentially who's trying to kill you, there is the important thing that there is a gigantic dog, beast, hell, Barghest, whatever the hell that is, that happens to be running around here somewhere that exploded him. And that's the end result. No matter who a friend is.
If there are monsters in these streets, then it is my responsibility to do something about it.
You didn't even know what a Barghest was, yet you're gonna go take one out? That's your thought process right now? That's...
The monster... She appears pretty grief-stricken at this point. Like, her eyes are clearly welling with tears over the death of her dear friend. Or who she thought was her dear friend. Gods below.
Look, I'm not trying to tell you what to do. I am, however, saying that I do believe this might be outside of your scope of handling.
Please, she says, Lady Sabella, if you and your people can see to neutralize these monsters, I shall pay you 10 crowns, she says. True, I feel responsible for this havoc and for what has happened to Master Bosco. But it is true, I do not know how to tend to no monster. I am a keeper of souls and dreams. I help ferry the dead into the afterlife. I know not of these things.
And while I appreciate your situation that you're in, 10 gold seems like so very little for 5 of us to risk our lives.
She seems taken aback that you
might
begin
the
to
Night
bargain
Watch
with her.
be better at handling this?
The Night Watch, she says, consists of 17-year-old boys and 3 men. Veterans, true, but have you not seen the streets of the dregs? Have you not seen what just occurred in the market in Market Hill?
Forgive
3 innocent people are dead.
Forgive me, I did not see what happened in Market Hill. I saw this. And this is what I see. And this is the concern I have. And I understand. I just state that it's not the money that makes me worry for my people. All of them have to agree that this is something we would set upon. I don't really care about the fee as much as them putting their lives on the line for what we don't even know. You couldn't even pronounce it either. That's my thought.
My thought of it.
It's up to them.
First off, I pray to the martyr for your heart and for your safety. As I'm, clearly looking past her.
She's trying to, her eyes are trying to search for his beneath the helmet, but she's kind of, so it's clear that Chuckles can't see at this point.
And second, this bar guest is looking for you. So wherever you go, it will eventually be trying to find you. So I say we try and go some places safer than here. Inevitably, it will turn up. Like if we go try and hunting it, then we leaving you alone, which is not protecting.
The House of Augurs is well protected, even from devil dogs, she says.
So you would say you would rather us go hunting devil dogs and you go there, you are okay with that? Or would you want us to go with you?
The cornerstones of the custodian, the cornerstones the priest laid of the House of Augurs when it was first erected, protects it from such evils.
Well, this person said release it in there and it could kill you.
Where did the paw prints go, she says? Where did they lead to?
Off into the graveyard. We didn't follow them because we don't even know what this thing is.
The paw prints go that way and the House of Augurs is that way, she says.
Okay, so it's bad at directions. That doesn't mean that it can't get in. Look, first of all, before any of that is even determined, I need to know if everybody wants to do this. So?
Listen, I know what I did before. I know I quoted wrong scripture from wrong God.
I don't think this is the time, she says.
So,
She's wiping tears from her face.
Listen, I try to understand. So I try use this, make good with us, huh?
Okay, so you're in.
Is Branch of Olive.
I mean,
That's a phrase. All right, but what about everybody else?
Yeah, I'm in. I got nothing else to do. We're living in the dark night.
Okay, boredom. So you're in. All right. So making branches of olives and boredom. Okay. Anybody else? Lester?
If this thing is actually Rufus, I think we owe it to him to find him and put him down.
Okay. Well,
Wait, it's Rufus?
maybe.
Can we put back?
There is I mean, it's like a 1 in 3 chance as far as we know. Maybe at best. I don't know how many times he tried something like this. My guess is once.
You think we can put back?
Maybe it's Rufus and he still knows us, and then we got a big, strong dog. He'll
Big,
still.
fiery, bloody dog. Yeah, that seems like.
I looked at Wilson. You still got that squeaky dog, squeak toy? Well, if it doesn't kill us because of that, it was probably Rufus.
I guess. All right, so we've got a branch of olives, a boredom. Maybe it's the right dog, and hey, maybe we can get a better pet out of this. That's our thought process on this. So we're gonna go after it then.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she takes Bug and she hands it to Celsia.
She takes the animal.
You protect this. We go take care of that.
And
She nods.
she like leans down and like pets Bug's face and stuff. And
Good boy. You be good. I'll be back for you, okay? Alright, let's go kill this thing or tame this thing or not be bored anymore. Let's go.
So you want to start tracking it through the graveyard?
Celsia
Think so.
said
Yeah.
she thought she was safe.
Who's gonna track it?
Not me.
I don't think I'm able to track.
Anyone got some? Anyone good at tracking?
Nope.
I mean, I got good eyes, but I ain't really good at tracking.
Yeah, I'm really good at looking at things. I'm not. I don't, that was a paw print. That's
Right.
all I got.
Like,
I'm useless tonight.
When I used the witch side earlier, did the paw print glow or anything? Could I see anything on the paw print?
Mm-hmm.
Well, then I will track it with witch sight.
That's the line.
Mhm.
Oh, wait.
How long
Okay.
does Witch Sight last? What's its duration?
3 minutes. 3 plus WB minutes.
Willpower bonus?
yeah,
Yeah, we're definitely past that.
Yeah,
So what's your WB?
Oops, like 4.
Willpower bonus.
4.
So you can track it for 7 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, we can at least try.
we can see if we can find it before it finds us.
Are you going to cast your Witch Sight then? Or do you want to automatically succeed with Cruel Tutelage?
Let's do cruel tutelage again.
Okay, go down one more step on the Peril condition track.
Oh boy.
So now you have 2 blind people in your party.
2 blind mice.
Yeah, but hers is easily rectified.
Yeah. You can't edit the situation. You have coins.
That's true. Yeah. I mean, why not? Let's say that there's something in Seabran physiology that sometimes the metabolism works a little bit differently, and I happen to work through the
Poison.
mandrake route a little bit faster.
Fair enough. Okay.
So I'm back to being nervous, but
So your despair state will go when you leave the mausoleum. Just to be clear.
still nervous though.
And the first thing that you can see with your witch sight, Eaglesdove, are these big old paw prints, and you follow behind her through the darkness. And as you're going, you kind of wind your way through the graveyard, not really knowing what to expect. And you can see the palisade, the wall of the palisade growing, looming larger and larger as you're getting closer to the edge of the city. And that's when you see that the palisade has been completely busted through. There's this yawning black portal of darkness that leads out into the Lockwood. And the paw prints head out that way. Out into the Pine Expanse.
You know, I kind of think without tracking, we might have known the culprit behind this. Just thought.
There's just this splintered palisade that's been busted outward into the forest, allowing anyone and anything to come into the graveyard. And this hellhound is now in the Pine Expanse.
So do we know anything about, anyone ever heard any rumors, stories, legends about these hellhounds?
No. I don't know, Eagle's dog, you might be the only one that might have an idea, right?
Lucky's the biggest dog I know.
Yeah.
Till now.
I've never heard of a hellhound before. Can I look out into the hole that was made? Like, stick my head out there and see if I see any light?
You stare out into just pitch black woods. Nothing. Just these tall, soaring pine trees that have almost shivered off all of their pine needles from the lack of light in the last 29 days. These tall, soaring skeletons of dying trees in the wood.
Do those paw prints end there then?
No, they go deeper into the wood.
You know, I wonder if hellhounds can get past the barrier. Like if they can leave the darkness.
Need to be careful about going into Pine Expanse.
Yeah.
I hear there's strange people afoot out there.
So for most people, they go out into the Pine Expanse, right? But then they just end up right back where they were before.
Well, the dome is a little bit past the city, right? Like it goes into the forest a little bit.
That's what you've heard, but you don't really know. You've not experienced it.
Well, if it goes to the edge of the dome that we can't get out of or can't return from, we've done what we can. I mean, right?
So we should follow the footprints out and see what happens?
If we're gonna do this, that's the way to do it.
It might be Rufus. That's what we came here for.
Yep.
How much light do you all have? Your torch is burned out, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I have one other oil pot.
I have candlelight.
I'm out. Nothing.
Yeah, I'm out now.
Well,
Let's strike out into the woods.
I have a torch.
Oh, I still need lantern oil for to do candlelight, and I don't have any.
Well, the only bar guests I know hang around Big Corey's.
So I have the oil.
Roll charm test. This will be easy.
I have the oil that's in my lantern, and then I have one extra pot.
Okay.
So I don't know how much is left.
About 8 hours.
Success.
Everyone may go up one step on the Peril condition track.
Nice.
Levity.
God.
The bar guest. I get it.
that's how you pronounce it.
That's what I'd rather be right now, is a bar guest. Big plate of chicken wings.
Look, I got like what? Another 4 hours on this lamp and one more pot of oil. So
Maybe we go back,
like it's more
have
light.
ourselves a meal,
I mean, this thing's gonna only gonna get harder and harder to track.
take a nice, well-earned shut-eye,
You
maybe
already slept
enjoy a
today.
fight.
Where are you going with your?
He keeps going. Like describing a very nice day that doesn't involve anything that
So-
we've been doing thus
So
far.
you just want to cancel all our plans at this point? That
I mean, postpone.
you can only
definitely.
postpone a hellhound for so long, I imagine.
Well,
And we
So-
got fresh tracks now.
you'll think Lady Nia won't have any troubles if we just. You wait there, dog. We come back.
Well, we can't get too far without any light, and I suppose she probably wants to know about her broken fence. I mean, maybe the fence gets patched up and dog won't come back.
Well, I know this. Lady Nia hit me. To me, I think she little uptight, but it's okay. So if you think she hit me now, she hit me even more if she's dead.
Wait, huh?
Yeah.
Actually, I don't think she'll hate much of anything if she's dead, to be
Oh
honest.
no, she still hit me.
Oh wait, no, she's for the custodian. Yeah, she'll keep hating you. It's true.
However, I have a thought. You know, when we were in the mausoleum, obviously, if he was doing like experiments down there and things like that, he probably had a light set up and at least an oil pot or a lantern or two, and those coins look pretty good. So I'm gonna go with that and edit the story.
Oh, yeah. Well, you actually don't have to spend any coins because upon closer investigation in the mausoleum, sure enough, he had an unspent lantern.
Yeah.
Another 6 hours of oil inside of
So
it.
that makes sense that he would have to have some light to do.
So someone want to take his lantern? You need a lantern and six and 1 pint of oil. Someone want to take it?
I've already got one.
You're.
Sure, I take.
So we're down a lantern and a pint of oil.
So I've got a few hours left on mine. But and then like I said, one other.
Are you gonna go beyond the palisade into the woods? Into the Pine Expanse?
We have light.
Into the Lockwood?
What's the worst that could happen?
That's a horrible statement for you to make right before we
I mean,
I mean, I say it all the time, but
I know, and how many times of bad things happened, Hiram?
I mean, that's just because the Night's Watch got it out for me. I told him it wasn't me.
Yeah, you did.
I will say, every time something bad that has happened, he has said it.
If you say it all the time, you know. That's,
Oh, yeah. Oh.
I died on a day I was breathing. Like
So, if you walk through this underneath like this palisade, keep in mind the palisade is made of like these thick trees that have been driven into these earthen piles, like earthen embankments to protect the city from outside. And as you walk beneath these, like, you know, it's like 3 foot wide diameter logs and then completely burst through that has pitch black singe marks all around it. You're not really sure what you're getting yourselves into.
Can I get a feeling of like how big this creature is based on how big the hole it created?
You actually have to hunker down to get through it.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's big, but not gigantic.
Yeah. And now like, oh my god! It's more like, I gotta crawl beneath here. And you emerge out into the Pine Expanse.
Unless it's a cat, and then it's liquid, which means it can fit in.
The sounds of the city disappear as you can hear the rustling of limbs from the wind, and you can hear the crickets and the owls in the wood. And not a speck of light save for your own, so as your lantern light passes upon the trees, it casts these long kind of, some a little frightening shadows everywhere. Normally, before the eternal light, you would expect to hear lumbermen out here. You'd expect to see people beyond the gates of Slaughter Pine. That is not the case.
I'm gonna mark a couple trees around here.
Well, the great thing about it is that the considerable path of destruction that this hellhound left is very visible and very apparent.
Okay.
You can see branches of trees that have been burnt and singed, like undergrowth, that's been stomped down. There's actually bits of smoldering grass around here, like it happened recently. Like it left a clear path of destruction through the Lockwood. And you know that this area you're in, which is actually very clear, close to Slaughter Pine, is a place called the Pine Expanse. It's this strip of pine trees that wind its way through the hills. Remember, Market Hill sits on a huge sloping hill, and this hill just kind of continues out into the wilderness. And you can't see stars or the moon, so it's really hard to like see elevation. You're just kind of ascending further and further up. Who is going to play the role of the guide? Who's going to guide their way through the wood? Or guide you all through the wood?
That'd be navigation.
No.
Oh, I have navigation.
Oh, it could be.
Actually, yeah, never mind.
It may be survival,
Yeah.
maybe navigation.
Kind of hard to navigate without stars.
Very difficult to navigate without stars, one could say. So we're going to need someone to choose to be our... somebody needs to be our guide. Who wants to be the guide?
All right, I'll do it.
Sorry, the trailblazer, if you will.
Sure.
That seems like a bad idea.
It's a no, it's the best idea.
You
Let's
know
do it.
what? You're rolling great today.
What's the worst? I mean,
What's
the worst that can...
What's
so,
the best that could happen?
what's the best that could happen?
So our guide is going to be Chuckles. Who's going to tend to the lamp, the oil, and any provision? Well, you don't have any provisions, so it doesn't really matter. Who's going to attend to the attending to the oil and the lamps? Our quartermaster.
What are the options? What are the things that we're staffing? So that maybe we can figure out who goes where. Because you said quartermaster.
Healer survival.
Oh no, I wasn't looking for skill. I was looking for what all do we need to staff. But
Your trailblazer, someone to lead the way, the guide. The quartermaster, someone who's going to tend to the oil and provisions and survival. You're surviving along the way, and someone to scout ahead just slightly.
I'll scout ahead.
I can do the route then if somebody else wants to do the oil.
I can do the oil.
Unless you really want to, Chuckles. You want to lead the way?
I'm doing my part.
You might be able to assist them.
Then you know what? I'll help you up front, Chuckles.
Oh boy.
Your field of vision's not great in that.
Okay, so with that being said, Chuckles, since you're going to lead the way, do you want to roll folklore or navigation?
Folklore, definitely.
Okay. Well, you know the Pine Expanse actually fairly well. And you know there's one particular place you know about the Pine Expanse that's actually fairly close to... It's very, very close to Slaughter Pine.
I don't have folklore, so I'm cheering you on in spirit.
All right, cool.
We got this!
You can do it.
So I would like for you to make a routine and make a routine folklore test.
Okay.
I'm
so
hoping.
that'll be 54%. And 53 will succeed.
Nice. Oh man. Okay.
Well done.
As he begins to strike out, this land is not rough, but it's a little unnerving being in the Pine Expanse when there's no starlight or moon. You can't, like I said, you can't hear the sounds of the city. Slaughter Pine itself just disappears into the darkness. You can't even see the haze of light that typically lingers over the city. You're so far deep. You're so far into the forest. I need all of you to make either a routine survival or toughness test. It's entirely up to you.
71.
6.
Nope.
36.
Success because it's routine.
Ooh, success.
Anybody fail?
I did fail.
See how fast you're doing that now.
Oh God. 11 Peril along the path. It's the ground is a bit harsh. The Pine Expanse, most of your footfalls are kind of softened by all the pine needles that have actually fallen off the trees out here. With no light, the pine needles have just the trees are bare of needles. Like they look, as you kind of look up into the trees themselves, they're like just these bare pine branches spreading everywhere, like these skeletons of trees that are eventually going to die with no light. And the Pine Expanse has these big soaring pine trees that's used by the arbor family to create all manners of woodworking and stuff in the city. In fact, the place where you're at, most of this has been stripped, clear cut. But the ground is really rough for you, at least. It's rough for everybody, but it's particularly rough for Hiram. Now we need our quartermaster to roll to tend to all the oil. So Eaglestav, you can either make it either a routine survival or tradecraft test.
I'm going to do tradecraft test.
Okay.
57. 53.
Nice.
Success.
Okay. Well, the good thing is that you are not expending too much oil. You're reminding them to keep the lantern light low as possible. It may reduce some of your visibility out here in the darkness, but not knowing how far you're really going to have to go, you also have to make sure you have enough light to get back if you get so far you don't find Rufus. So far, nothing. Just burnt remnants of the tracks of when he's been through here, whenever dog came through here. And then we need a final check from Hiram, who happens to be kind of like watching along in the fleeting shadows of the lantern light. You can roll either a trivial awareness or trivial stealth.
Okay, I'll do trivial stealth.
Okay.
So if you do awareness, I can assist. But if you better stuff.
No, you were assisting the guide.
Right, 97%.
Oh, I couldn't have still.
97% chance to sucsucceed.
Oh,
That's a success.
So he doesn't need my help with the 97.
Well, the good thing is, Hiram, is if anything's going to get... If there's anything or anyone out here, you are doubtlessly going to get the jump on them. Beyond a shadow of the doubt. And just along this path, there's these half-eaten prey, massive paw prints, and burned plant life. Pretty much all over throughout this place. And eventually, your search for the devil dog comes to some trouble. As you can hear the trickling at first of the Brightwater River until you realize you're actually at the river's edge, the bank of the river. The Brightwater here must be at least 10 yards across. This cool, crystal white river. There are trees on either side, of course, but there's no easy way to ford it here. There's really no way across unless you either, one, elect to swim, or two, go all the way back to Slaughter Pride and cross the central bridge. But the path continues to this bank and then stops.
Can we see on the far side any further sign that the animal went across?
Well, you can smell something burning here and there, and as you lift your lantern, sure enough, you can see the underbrush on the other side, near the bank, is all singed and burnt.
Oh, great. Can any of you swim?
All of you can swim, to be clear.
Let's swim.
Can any of you swim well?
I swim okay.
Lester raises his hand.
It's my swimming hand!
Well, what do we want to do here?
I would suggest if we're just gonna try to swim across, that we go a bit more upstream. That way it puts us back down where a little bit more on track.
That makes sense.
Is there any deadfall around?
No, unfortunately not.
Okay.
Most of the deadfall would have been gathered along the Brightwater. The Brightwater it runs... I mean, you're not really sure how far... You know you're at least 2 hours outside of Slaughter Pine. It could... On a normal day, you may be closer, but it's dark out, so you don't really know.
Yeah.
But any deadfall to be found in the Brightwater River would have been taken back to the city.
Okay.
Like, the people of Slaughter Pine have... Although they populate the inside of Slaughter Pine, inside the Palisade, their business is outside of it itself. So...
Right.
You're surprised not to have found any cabins in the woods or even smaller settlements around here. Clearly, the Devil Dog was avoiding anyone and everyone. So no driftwood, unfortunately, to use.
So, yep. That's all the advice I got.
You got a football we can hold on to?
I mean, it ain't gonna help you float, really.
Well, it's full air, isn't it?
I mean, it's like, it's like this big, and you like this big. I ain't exactly super smart, but yeah, it ain't gonna really help.
Oh, okay.
You're just too big. Like if you was like a kid, yeah, maybe.
So So do we want to swim across then?
Yeah, let's
Well, we
swim.
don't-
We've already made it this far.
We don't have enough oil to get back to the city and back here. I
You do,
guess-
actually. Ecclesdav has been keeping track of oil. It's only been 2 hours. She has 4 hours oil left. She has 2 hours of oil left in her current lantern, 6 hours left in one pint, and 6 hours in the other pint. So you're not even halfway out of oil,
So
to be clear.
we could, but we would be going for hours to get back to this spot on the other side. And who knows what that thing can do in a couple hours.
Yeah,
Are we gonna
yeah,
keep
it could burn something.
Are we gonna keep the lamps lit while we're crossing the river? I guess we could light it.
Turn
once
them off and then swim across.
Guess we light it when we get to the other side.
How deep is it?
Huh?
You could probably put a lantern. You could put your lantern on a branch.
Well,
Is he a strong sword across first?
I can go first.
I'll throw it!
Well, it made it across, alright? That was the whole point.
I can throw medium and long distances. It's all
Yeah,
good.
exactly.
all the
I can
trees
throw.
are dying.
I could throw this stake over that mountain right there.
Yeah, if
Your Uncle Rico.
if only we had decided to play an entire team with blitzballers, then we'd have a catcher.
Yeah. And then I can just throw people across the river.
Do you want to be the first to cross?
Yeah.
Alright.
Roll a secret athletics test.
Alright.
Oh boy.
Alright. Normal chance is 58. And I rolled a 66 critical something.
Oh.
And I drowned. Alright. I'll start rolling
That's
up
a
new
crit
character.
success.
What?
Yeah.
It's like,
What? Not only does he make it to either side, he takes a lantern and casts a light over. The water's cold.
Yeah.
The bright water actually originates somewhere leagues to the north from the Arborean peaks. It's spring water.
Alright.
Oh boy, it's cold down here, but you make it across. You all want to start swimming? Okay.
Yep.
At this point, it's now just a trivial athletics test for everybody. I didn't want to reveal yours, though.
It's fine.
Now that we know, so it's a trivial athletics.
The water's a little chilly, but
Got it.
81.
Success.
72.
No crit failure gonna add
Oh. Fail. 98.
Oh.
let's say I was gonna have to do some Baywatch on you. If,
Yeah.
pull your mask off.
Anybody else fail? No. Do you want to keep that roll or you want to re-roll it with a coin?
Might as well use a coin.
Okay. Wow, 4 misfortune for me and 2 fortune for you. All right.
I will be up.
I forgot what my number was here. Okay,
72.
42. 72.
That's
All
what I
right.
said. I have the same.
Yep. 71.
Oh.
We got a lot of close calls tonight.
No kidding. Well, you managed to cross the river and you shake the water off. You just kind of squeeze it out of some of your clothes. And
Oh, for this roll? No.
the sound of the bright water river kind of bleeds away as you go back into the forest. Another hour passes. And that's when you find where the tracks seem to stop. Almost abruptly to some degree. And you can see the skeletons of pine trees rising all around you. They've shed their needles everywhere. But your eyes are actually drawn toward this light. Maybe the best way to describe it. It's coming from this crown of flame, dancing atop the head of this hellhound is the best way to describe it. This huge mutated mutt is sniffing toward the ground as if searching for something. Its coat has been completely burnt off It smells like burning hair everywhere around here. And it's sniffing around the middle of this clearing. And in the center of the clearing is this massive concentric circle of toadstools. And immediately, for you, Chuckles, you know exactly where you're at. Whether you choose to tell everybody where you're at is entirely up to you. I'll leave this to your discretion.
There's the dog.
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah.
Hang on just a moment.
I'm gonna spend a couple minutes studying this dog.
Yeah.
This place is holy.
You just speak up.
Oh, this place is holy.
Imagine I'm whispering.
Yeah, imagine I'm whispering, yeah. There were many battles fought here.
Oh, that's what that means? My cousin said that this sort of thing's called a fairy ring.
That's what you would call it. Yeah.
So, okay, well, what are we supposed to do?
Have some fucking reverence.
Yeah, I don't. What does that mean? Like, we shouldn't go in there?
No, he's, Grand Temple of Stewards, right? You know where Eternal Flame is, huh?
Yeah.
Well, imagine Demon Dog was standing next to Eternal Flame.
But what does that
I
mean?
mean, that's a weird image, but
It
okay.
means we're in a holy place. Just, try and be nice to it.
Okay. I don't want to fight that thing.
I would not go knocking over pews and tearing and breaking stained glass,
Okay.
You don't see this chapel he's speaking of. It's clear that Chuckles is speaking metaphorically. But the place does seem special. To that point, Hiram, it does look like a fairy ring, so to speak, but it's curious that this animal bereft of hair with literally a burning crown of flame on top of its head and its eyes burning like this bright yellow, casting their own strange light like head beams of a car into the darkness out and around it, sniffing around this place amid the clearing. All around you, these tall, soaring skeletal trees seem to frame this unusual and otherworldly place. None of you have seen this before, save for perhaps Chuckles.
Does it?
Or you've heard of it at least.
Yeah.
Does the dog resemble Rufus in any way, shape, or form?
Well, Lester was looking at the dog for a while, so I think I'll allow the both of you. I'll say, Lester, you can make a secret scrutinize test, and then
Okay.
you can also make one as well, Lady Isabella.
Okay.
Alright, I have a 55,
53.
31.
14.
You both want to keep that?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm good.
If you look through the strange boils that covers this hellhound's body and this unusual burning crown of flame that dances atop its head, and as the bar guest seems to growl and snarl, every once in a while you can hear it kind of make this whining sound of it's perhaps in pain. It's Rufus.
Rip.
I guess that answers your question.
Hiram, as you're staring at this, the dog and the whole situation, you also see something sticking almost straight up into the air, like what do they call it when something that's true north. You see this shaft of wood, this shillelagh, standing up like end on end in the middle of the circle of the toadstools.
See that?
The dog barks and snaps and howls and yelps in pain.
See that? I pointed out to Chuckles. There's a
Yeah, I see it.
there's a club there right in the middle.
Yeah,
It must be special.
it must be. I'm not too sure of everything that goes into this, but I am sure of one thing. This is a holy place to see opera. They revere this place.
You think they'd mind if we bonked the dog on the head of that club there? Maybe it'd hurt him a bit more if it's holy.
What do I think of that? Like, well, I
You have
mean,
no idea what
Okay.
that. You don't know what he's. You don't know any reference to this shillelagh or club he's speaking of whatsoever. To what you know of this place.
it seems a little out of place. But it could be because I don't know any better.
Well, you know more than me.
Old wives' tales, huh?
Well, they're usually true, as far as I know.
Do you think there's anything left of Rufus in that thing?
I think so.
Who did he like the best?
He didn't like me.
No.
Yeah, I think in fact we established something very early on when the game first started about your relationship with Rufus. Anyone? What relationship do you? What connection did all of you have to Rufus?
I would sneak food to him underneath the table.
I trained him and he hung out with my dog. He was best friend.
What about Hiram?
We kind of had a love-hate relationship. He kind of humiliated me a few times. So he remembers me at least.
What equals down?
I used to throw little magic fireballs around him to get him to chase it.
He kept trying to get my attention, and I would keep pushing him away.
Yeah. What do you all want to do?
I'm gonna try.
So Sabella's gonna ask Wilson for the squeaky toy.
Are you sure you want to do that? Wilson says, looking at this email. He hands it to you.
And Sabella is gonna she'll look at everybody and
I'm gonna step away from you. I don't want him to come this way. There's gonna be something wrong. But I gotta try.
Well, maybe before you try, just in case he attacks you, I should go with you and try to subdue him.
If you want. But I figured some of you can stay over here and stay out of harm's way and possibly come in if need be.
I'll go with you.
I'll go with you.
Alright.
So as you're ready to prepare to step into the clearing, we're going to take a very quick break. Because I need to get something out. So for our listeners and viewers, we'll be back in just 2 seconds. Okay, so we're back in recording. So I'm going to flip down just to kind of show those who are watching what you would all would see.
picking characters out.
Yeah, we're going to in just a minute. I'm gonna show you kind of where you're at. So this will be Lady Sabella, because I think you said you were gonna go close, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Who's gonna go with Lady Sabella?
Lester.
Lester.
Eagle stop.
Okay. So that's Lester. Sorry, here's Lester, your football guy. Like that from the Blood Bowl game.
Nice.
Eaglestav. Anybody else gonna go up there?
No, I didn't want to make the dog mad.
So we'll leave. In this case, we'll leave Chuckles here,
Alright.
and Hiram kind of close together in the middle of the woods. So that's kind of what it looks like. As you can clearly see over here, this is where Rufus is he's doing his thing. He's sniffing the ground, yelping and barking. Yelping in pain and snarling as if looking for something, and the three of you begin your approach. Starting at the top of initiative, Lester, you're clearly up. you're kind of moving up there at this point. What do you want to do?
I'm gonna pull out like a piece of dried meat, and I'm gonna ready it to like offer it to him, but I'm gonna wait for actually Lady Isabel to make first contact.
Okay.
Just pulling out the meat right now.
Okay.
And then I'll bake the rest of my AP.
Okay. Sabella?
I'll keep my meat safely away.
Bunch of 8-year-olds around this table.
Yep.
You know.
And she's gonna pull out the squeaky toy. And she's gonna kind of call out and just, like, whatever command word she used to use with him or whatever, and just, like,
Rufus! Rufus, come!
and just squeak the toy and kind of hold out to see what happens at that point, see what his reaction is.
Okay. This will be one action point.
Okay.
You call out to Rufus, make a handle animal test. This test is routine.
This was something I should have brought up before, but I wanted to switch my ride to handle animal. But I don't have that switched right now.
Oh.
I was going to use 100 RP, see if you'd let me use 100 reward points and switch that. But I don't have it, so it's untrained. So, 50%. I got a 41. No, 14, sorry.
Ooh.
Or 41. So.
Use. Rufus is imperiled. The dog turns toward you, begins snarling and yelping in pain as it kind of like lowers its nose, and you see its back kind of bristle, and suddenly the fire on its head begins to grow twice its height. As it's, if you ever seen like Hannibal, the television show, like the weird, strange, black, inky creatures. This thing looks like it has no fur. It looks like it's made of just liquid black, oozing oil. And with every step, it leaves these strange smoldering marks in the ground. Suddenly, its flames going to grow twice its height, and the strange yellow beams of light that come from its eyes like emit outward. Boom! Casting the three of you in perfect light. You all, of course, Chuckles and Hiram see this at this point. You have 2 action points left, Lady Isabella. You already made your attack.
Not attacking. Sabella is instead going to call out, "Sit!"
Okay.
And see if it actually works.
You call out sit. Make it. This will be words as weapons. Roll an intimidate test.
Okay. A 75 won't do it. Should I use a coin?
You got 2 coins left. But I've got 4.
Should I use a coin?
You do follow your heart.
Okay, you know what? Since that command didn't work, we're gonna try a different one, which is stay. So can I try words as weapons again since this one failed?
Yes, but it becomes more difficult. So it now becomes standard.
That's fine. Oh wait, it was routine?
Yeah.
Then no wait, it still didn't succeed. You said intimidate, right? Not leadership?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna try stay, and that's fine. So intimidate again.
Yeah.
Okay. 68 still won't do it.
I'm so sorry. It's easy because it's surprised.
Oh, if it was easy, I made it.
Yeah. I
made
need
it
some
on the
initiative
first
there
one.
for Rufus. Rufus has an initiative of 10 plus 1. Initiative of 15. It goes after Lady Isabella.
Yeah, I
After
made
Lady
it on the
Isabella.
first one if it was easy.
What?
Yes, after Lady Isabella. So, yep, there you go.
15?
15. Yep. Perfect. Okay. Did you succeed?
I on the first one, yeah.
Nice.
I would have with an easy.
That's great. Okay. Well, it is now lowering its peril and damage condition tracks by 1. The creature, the hellhound, tries to... It looks toward you, and it's clearly, like, confused for a moment, but its more devilish self takes over as it bares its fangs, now as large as tiny daggers. and the black liquid kind of pours forth from its maw onto the ground, hissing and smoldering the grass around it as the crown of flame is still rising.
So I mean, I have one more AP left.
You have more AP, that's right.
Can I use words as weapons for my people to up our initiative?
Once you succeed,
Or can you only do it as one?
That's right.
And you can only do it as one out of the 3 categories?
That's right.
Okay. I didn't know if you could do one of each category or... No. Okay.
Not once you succeed.
Okay. Then... I don't have enough AP to do that. I'm going to hold my last AP.
Okay. Alright, so it's surprised, so it can't do anything this round. Eaglesdov, what do you want to do? Clearly, it's got some semblance of life left in it, some semblance of recognition, at least, of when Lady Sabella's speaking with it, but it also seemed to incense the second self, the hellhound, whatever spirit, dark spirits inside of it that's been enraged by the witch fire, or the witch stone, rather. Mm-hmm. What do you want to do?
I'm torn because I don't want to kill Rufus just in case there's something left inside of him, because I love Rufus. So I can subdue Rufus.
If you can get close enough to touch it.
Yeah.
What's the distance on it?
Anyone I can touch. So I have to get close enough to touch him.
You have to move up. You have to hustle up there. You want to hustle up? You want to close the distance?
Yeah, what's that?
So look at your movement rate on your second sheet. Battle Buddy, engage.
6.
So you're moving to 6, so you can grab your figure and move forward 6. You can't move diagonally. You have to, yeah. So.
Okay.
So remember, you
That's
are in,
one action
you are in
point
purple.
to do that.
Yep, and you can hustle multiple times.
Yeah. Okay, let me see.
So if you need to go further than 6 yards, you can hustle. Which would be up to 12 yards.
So that's 2 action points.
Yeah.
Okay. And then
you have the third to cast if that's what you want to do.
Okay, that's what I want to do.
Okay, so let's see if you can get up there first.
Okay.
Okay. So you've used 2 action points and you get close to Rufus and you can feel the boiling hot heat off of its body that's just goopy with this black oily liquid. You can feel the heat coming off of it. You're going to cast Subdue.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to roll? Okay, so do you want to roll to cast or do you want to use Cruel Tutelage?
I'm gonna use Cruel Tutelage. What?
What happens with Subdue?
So after successfully casting the spell, you immediately render one foe helpless and they're knocked prone.
Rufus falls to the ground. How was the duration?
It doesn't. 3 minutes. 3 plus my bonus, willpower bonus. So that was
Your willpower bonus is over there.
4.
Yeah.
7 minutes.
7 minutes, okay. Rufus, as you touch Rufus, the hellhound drops to the ground. The crown of flame extinguishes as it's now whining. It's crying for help. Rufus is helpless right now. Yelping. Somehow beneath that terrible hellhound visage, underneath all that pitch black oil, somewhere inside is Rufus. Your turn's over. Who's next? Chuckles?
Chuckles is gonna run for 3 action points, so that'd be a total of 18 squares closer to where Eaglestav and Rufus are.
Okay. So move yourself up there.
Somebody else can do it. Yeah.
Or Mike can do it if you like. Yeah.
Let's see there. So 1, 2. Do this way. 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll start going this way. 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13.
Nope, just 12.
No, 12.
Wait, no, I'm
Said 18.
Running,
yeah, 18.
12. Okay. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18.
Okay. All right, you're right next to Rufus. That's all 3 action points. You have 2 coins left. What will happen? Hiram,
Okay, I will move up to the dog as well.
what can you run at?
My movement is 10.
You're just moving. Oh wow, you could spend 2 action points to get up there.
Yeah.
Okay, so just go ahead and move him anywhere beside them, so you can clearly get the distance up there, which is good. Okay, so you're standing right beside Rufus too.
And how big is this dog?
It's pretty fucking big. It's about the size of a greyhound.
Okay. I guess I'll. If he's cool enough to pick up, I'll pick up the dog.
As you reach your hands out to grab and hold the dog, you feel the icky black ichor all over your hands. You need to resist with coordination. This is a standard test.
Okay. 57, and I rolled a 4. Success.
You pull back your hands just in time before you're burned.
Ooh. It needs to be cleaned off.
Dog is smoldering. Like it's like when you're kind of near a fire and the air is kind of like wavy and strange and hot. That's what it feels like to be close to Rufus. It's like you're standing right next to a bonfire. You can feel the heat kind of coming off of him. Whatever Sabella did to help it recognize her worked, because it seemed to be kind of taken aback through the recognition of Lady Sabella's relationship with the dog.
How far away from the stream?
An hour.
Oh.
I don't.
It's 3 action points, Hiram. Last turn? What do you want to do?
Oh, Lester. He's gonna. Let's see. What's my movement? I don't think it's that great.
I'll throw a football.
6. Yeah.
See if you want to play catch.
Let's see here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm gonna get up to him for 2 AP. Kind of squat down and like feed him the piece of meat jerky that I got.
Okay. Roll a routine handle animal test.
Routine handle animal jerky. I have is a 62. And the 71 is a failure.
I'm sorry, it's still surprised. It's easy.
That'd be a 72 in which I succeed.
Nice.
Mm.
It's now -1 on the peril condition track.
Sorry, boy.
Sorry, I can't even put these. I'm just going to state it out. Assume
it's fine.
It's not good. Yeah, we know. Because, yeah, we'll assume that, he's prone on the ground. He's suffering. He's hurting. Yelping. Its eyes kind of look toward you, blinking. The light kind of winking out for just a mere moment. A moment of recognition between you and Ed.
I pet him, but I think I may have saw him reach back. Feel the heat off.
It tries to reach out for the food, but it yelps in pain. Anything else you wish to do?
That's all 3 in my AP.
Sabella?
I don't know what to do at this point. I mean, we can take him back, possibly put him on make a litter and try
Keep
to take
squeaking.
him back. Huh?
Keep squeaking.
Well, and she kind of has been off and on and stuff while everything's going on, but she's like,
do we think there's any way to get him back from this?
Let him know who's boss.
You only have 10 seconds to speak, or you're gonna lose your turn.
then she's gonna attempt to try to keep him calm, soothe him. I don't know how else she could do that, but
It seemed to recognize your voice when you spoke with it when you use handle animal, and the same thing for Lester whenever you tried to feed it food. It seemed to kind of affect it in some way. Like there was a moment of recognition between Rufus and you, your special relationship that you had with the animal.
then she's probably gonna try to just cycle through the commands she's used, because maybe there's somewhere in his head he still remembers what those mean. So,
Okay.
like, the sit and the stay and maybe lay down. So she's gonna, she'll try to lay down this time just to, like, keep him calm or
Okay.
quiet, maybe.
Yeah. It's still technically a surprise, so it's an easy handle animal test for your attack.
Attack.
Psychic attack.
Okay, yeah, still got that even with a flip to fail.
Nice. Roll 1d10 and add your fellowship bonus.
10 add my fellowship. My fellowship is a 6, and that's a 4, so 10.
Nice. It's now -2 on the peril condition track. It starts howling in pain. Trying to stand up. Anything else you wish to do, Lady Sabella?
So that's 1. And that was that words as weapons again? No, that was
That's
just a handle
that's your
animal.
attack, yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna do a words as weapons to make sure that if it jumps up, all of us are ready to handle it. So I'd like to try to up our speed a little bit. So keep on your toes. We still don't know what he's gonna do.
Okay. Alright.
And that's leadership, right?
Yep.
Okay.
And that'll just be routine for you.
Okay, so 60. So that's a 70% chance. 23 will do it.
Nice.
And so all of us get, what is it, +3 to initiative?
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
So that means move Rufus below Chuckles. Yeah, because everybody's initiative increased.
Nice.
You buy yourself some time.
And that also means that, what, is it just initiative? It's speed too, isn't it? +3 to speed.
I think it's initiative only.
It's initiative only? I can't remember.
Check the book. That's what we have Flames of Freedom for. Oh.
Still getting used to the new one.
It's all good. We'll just we'll move on though.
Yeah, I'll look it up.
Eagle Stop, what do you want to do?
I want to go up next to him and do the flashy thing or do the fireballs with my hands and ask him to follow that, just to see if I can see any of Rufus left in him.
Okay. Roll a routine incantation test.
Okay, 57. 67. 67.
Nice.
Take it.
Oh, I rolled the
all right.
No, I rolled the wrong die.
okay,
I gotta
yeah,
try
roll
again.
yours.
I'm sorry.
It's alright, reroll.
39.
Hey, that'll work. Okay. You conjure forth a small flame and you toss it out into the wood and roll 1d10 and add your fellowship bonus.
Okay, 4.
I apologize. I was doing, it would have been warfare, which I still succeeded on, but it's +1 to initiative,
8.
+1 to movement.
Okay.
So not 3.
You did how much?
8.
8? It's now -3 in the peril condition track. Anything else you wish to do? You have 2 action points left.
Knock him out.
Couldn't resist it.
We're killing him with kindness.
Will I kill him?
What do you mean?
If you drop down the peril condition track?
Yeah.
No.
If he's
Typically that would
Incapacitated.
incapacitate you.
You would just already.
I don't know
Still
with
not
him,
killing.
but with
Yeah.
us, that's what it does.
Well, what I want to do is incapacitate him enough to get him over to the water to get him wet. So. So.
No longer a problem. Yeah. Can't be on fire if you're underwater.
Gotta feel that blood magic somehow.
I just think Rufus can still be in there.
Maybe so. You have
So-
2 action points left. What do you want to do?
All right. I want to knock him out, but not kill him. I want to incapacitate him.
Okay. What are you going to use to knock him out with?
Be nice.
I mean, I've got this mandrake root, and you said it has multiple purposes.
Yeah, but it has to be imbibed. You going to force feed it to it?
Yeah. Can I do that?
Sure.
Well,
You try. I can't tell you what's going to happen if you force feed an animal mandrake root, though.
I don't think that's in the manual.
whatever. Let's just do it. All right. So this is what I'm gonna lay next to him. I'm gonna take my mandrake root. I'm gonna break it up, and I'm gonna throw it into his mouth and try to not touch him at the same time, so I can just get it inside there.
What you doing?
I'm saving Rufus. He's still in there.
Dogs eat meat.
Okay, but after he eats the mandrake root, hopefully he'll get really fucked up like you did.
So you ever had to give a dog a pill that wasn't food?
Yeah.
Yeah, it sucks. Roll a challenging handle animal test, Eagle Staff.
Even if it's in food, they'll spit it out. Like, they'll manage to pull it out of the food and spit it out.
Get those
I got
pill
a
pockets.
35
Even
here.
then
I was
sometimes.
successful with my cat when she was sick.
My dog used to just, like, lick the
Alright,
peanut butter.
35.
Yeah.
Spit it back out.
Oh, 70.
Reroll that. You got 2 coins left.
No.
All right, roll a challenging coordination test as you try to shove your hand down its throat to feed it, to force feed it mandrake root. Let's see if you can avoid the hot heat. Roll challenging coordination. It's under agility.
Okay, 20% here. So 4.
Nice. You draw your hand away before you start burning, which is good. Nichols, now your turn's over. Chuckles, what do you want to do?
Alright.
You see it kind of just to bare its teeth as it's starting to gather itself.
Okay, Chuckle. Okay, Rufus, I know what you always want. I know I put you away many times, but all you want is pet. Fuck me. As I reach down to give Rufus what he always wanted, and
Despite the heat.
and
Okay.
pet this fucking dog.
Roll an easy handle animal test.
Crit success, and we
what's-
managed to down a Helotes with a pet. That's
What's-
what I want.
Okay, easy makes it 57. 56. It turns it into a 65.
Oh.
Because no handling animal.
We got 1 coin left.
We do have a coin left. I have a bad feeling about this, but let's do it.
Yeah.
Will you?
Subdue him with pets.
57. And a 74 won't do it.
That doesn't work.
You burn yourself! You wearing any armor?
No.
Okay, good. You suffer 6 damage from fire. Ah! He draws his hand back and it's smoldering.
I am just barely still unharmed.
Oh, nice. You have 2 action points left, Chuckles. You want to try again? Remember, you can try attacking again. It just gets worse.
Yeah, let's do this. I mean, we're committed.
It's now routine.
I mean, all the boy wanted was to be pet.
I love how hard it is for you to pet a dog.
It's not a matter of petting though, it's a matter of getting the dog to recognize
No,
it.
I know.
Yeah,
It's just,
yeah.
I love
So
that it's
47. 24 turns into 42, so it is a success.
Alright, and as you do that, you suffer. Roll 1d10 and add your fellowship bonus.
Okay. 9 plus 3 is 12.
It's incapacitated!
What's the damage, David?
Oh god. 9!
That one gets you?
That one will get me to her, yeah.
It's because you actually pet him that time.
Yeah.
That's why.
As you manage to bring the dog around, the animal, the heat from the animal almost instantly kind of just subsides. All this pitch black ichor around it. Rufus seems to almost emerge from this cocoon of darkness, kind of spilling forth like a newborn animal from the placenta of evil. The smoldering on its head is gone. Rufus is wet, all of his fur is intact, covered in ichor and goo, and Rufus is somehow alive,
Huzzah!
but completely knocked out.
It's fine.
And it's at this point when you notice that in the center of this circle of toadstools, the staff that's there in the middle of it, the shillelagh begins to bloom with purple flowers, like almost instantly in the middle of this clearing. It seems to almost cast this strange kind of purplish light everywhere within the wood for a moment until it slowly subsides. And the toadstools kind of grow, and then they molder. As the circle of toadstools is completely gone, leaving only the stick in the middle of it. It falls over in the middle of where the circle of toadstools once was.
So, did we just break some stained glass window there or something?
Maybe. I don't know.
Kind of like eye towards Egglestaff. I'm like,
This is magic outside of my realm. I have no idea.
Okay.
Maybe we should just leave.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and pick up
You know what?
the fireman, carry him like over my shoulders.
Yeah, if we did something bad, it would be good to leave. If we did something good, it'd still be good to leave.
Yeah, you know what? This is not our place. We got the dog. We left the... You know, maybe the demon stuff will be fine here, and we just go back. That's...
I hope
Yeah.
the Seagra will understand.
Perhaps we stick to the mission, as I point to the stick and pick the dog up and...
I'll take a look at the stick, just because I'm curious.
Say shillelagh about the length of from hip to foot. And it's covered in these purple blooms of flowers that seem to actually emerge from it like it was a living tree.
Can I take those?
You want to pick up the stick?
I want the flowers.
You get to pick up the stick. Yeah. As you pick up the stick. Oh boy. White light suddenly completely clouds your vision, Eaglestaff, and brings your mind to someone you don't know. You can see perfectly through their eyes like you were them, being John Malkovich. And it seems that you're looking beyond like a wooden mask. You can see like the inside of the wooden mask itself, and it's bright outside, as if you were this person, this other person. As you're holding onto the stick, you just kind of snap into this strange kind of fever dream. Looking toward your own hands, they're calloused and rough, like the hands of a warrior. And then you find that you as this person are strolling through a more wild and younger version of Lockwood, a younger version of the Pine Expanse, with a fishing pole in hand. The midday sun peeks through the forest canopy as you walk toward a broad lake, mirroring a cloudless day overhead. You sit on the bank, soaking in the summer sun. Removing the wooden mask, you plunge your hands into the water to wash the sweat off your face. You've been wearing the mask all day, after all. Looking into the water reveals strange, elfin, otherworldly features. You know this Sea Obrin. He is called the Aquitanian. Your reflection suddenly disappears, however, swallowed by a sudden shadow over the lake. You draw your eyes toward the sky, the mask just shielding yourself from what little sunlight is left in there, and you witness an almost liquid black shadow fall over the forest, encasing it in a dome of darkness. Another wash of light returns your mind to reality as you're once again back in the woods. You can hear the rattling of the trees and the crickets in the forest. Yet there's this voice in your head that tells you the first glyph of power is Aeon. It means I. The second is Teth. It means the serpent. You then awaken from this strange state as you suffer 15 peril. You all look down toward Eaglesdorf, and she's throttling on the ground, foaming at the mouth, as she has the staff fully in hand. And as her eyes are slowly starting to awaken from this falling sickness, you can see these two strange glyphs etched on the side of the stick, right below where the flowers bloomed. You're looking up once again toward the eternal night. You're no longer in the body of whoever this person was, the Aquitanian. But those two words are burned into your mind. Aeon, the eye. Teth, the serpent. Glowering over you are your 4 friends. Well, 5, including Wilson.
6, including
That's
the
right.
past half dog.
He's not glowering though.
Yeah. He's slobbery though.
Things happen.
Are you okay?
No, I just saw the beginning. I saw the beginning of the endless night.
Oh.
It has something to do with the Siabran, it has something to do with an eye, it has something to do with a serpent. I don't know what any of it means, but I saw it.
Okay.
And I know that we have to figure out how to fix it. With the eye and with the serpent. The Iron and the Tef. I don't know what that means.
Well, I'm not entirely sure, but I do know we should probably get back. We don't have too much lamp oil, and even if we did have a lot, we don't know when we'll get more. So we should get Rufus home, and probably get you out of this area too, it seems like.
I have to take the staff with me.
Oh.
What are you doing, Chuckles?
I'm looking at the symbols on the staff just to see if I've ever seen it before.
No.
Because, like, when she says those things, it means nothing to me because we don't really talk much anyway. So, let me see it.
Eaglesdorf hands Chuckles the staff.
I grab onto it. I look it over.
Certainly unusual. You've never seen a stick that continues to grow purple flowers upon it.
Normally, weapons take life. This weapon gives life.
Well, we don't know what kind of flowers there are. We do know where the alchemist is. Maybe they'll know. Maybe that'll give us a hint.
Are the Siabran only... Do Siabran only wear masks? Are they the only ones that wear masks? This is for me.
Yeah.
I am sure there are other people that wear masks.
You don't recognize the words iron or teft?
I didn't recognize any words before I met any of you. As I finally, unfasten the mask, as the lock that's on there is now obviously decorative, and I take my mask off in this place, and I say,
What do they say?
they see a very strange looking person. It is not like any person you've seen before. The features are alien. The features are long. You kind of wonder how his ears would stay under that mask and be comfortable the whole time because it surrounds his entire head. And yeah, this looks like something you've seen in storybooks and fairy tales, and as you see also that this person seems to have impressions in his face that are they're various lines, and they look very organic. And it's almost as if his face kind of grew around them. Those lines, and that there's something missing from his face still. And he takes some time to like gather some of the wicker that's around here, and he starts to create a mask. And he's doing this very slowly.
What are all of you doing? This is happening. This is clearly this is not the same man whose body you were in, Eaglesdab, but this is a face that has similar features. He is a Siavran. An elf, as they'd be called among the Aridane.
And I already knew you were Siavran, right?
No,
No.
he didn't.
Oh.
No, the only person that knew is Wilson. And that's why when you were like, you recognize this word, and that's when he finally said, I didn't recognize any words at first. And that's when he takes the mask off.
Well, as soon as you take the mask off, Eaglestav is clearly afraid because I didn't know if I was just in your body or not with the mask. So I just kind of like shudder away from you because you were my friend, really. And I didn't know this part about you. So I'm like scared because I don't know you.
I'm sorry I misled you. And I continue to work on the mask. You can see disappointment, or at least what looks like it.
Oh,
What are you looking for? You need some help?
I appreciate you cannot.
okay.
Okay.
No one can. It has to be me.
Well,
So Sabella just kind of shrugs and she goes wherever you're going to give you light to try to find whatever you need to find then.
He looks up at you and he gives this really weird smile, like he doesn't really know how to, but he's trying.
The mask was almost an absurdity. The iron mask he wore before. Perhaps that's how he earned his moniker of Chuckles. You know that it's not his real name. Nobody would name their child that. Not even a mummer.
So she smiles back, kind of recognizing his effort, and then just holds the lantern to let him do what he needs to do.
Yeah, so
It's clear to you that this is a very sacred place. Anything you would gather here would be used to construct the mask, but it will take time to do.
Mhm.
To construct the mask of this. Gathering material, you have the materials you need though. You have the mud, the leaves, the wood.
I can finish this here, which would be ideal, but I understand. We need to go now.
Eaglesdab, you know that the oil is running low.
I mean, we could start another oil pot if you really need to be here, but it's not ideal.
I'm thinking with burning daylight or oil lamp, we should probably get going.
Is it okay to do this elsewhere?
Oh yes, I'm just saying it would be better.
Well, if you don't mind, it's probably better that we do start getting back.
And he would
We can leave
reach.
the iron mask behind.
I'll bring it with me, but I will not put it back on. No, actually, I will put it back on until I have a mask to replace it with. Yeah, I'll put it back on.
Okay. So with the body of Rufus and even deeper mystery revealed, you will trudge back through the Pine Expanse towards Slaughter Pine. And that is the end of the first chapter of our story.
Alright.
Yeah. So, 75 reward points.
Good.
Alright, I know we got some corruption tonight. I think we got some, just some. I honestly thought for a minute you all were gonna try to fight Rufus. I was like, they're gonna try to kill Rufus.
I mean, part of me was like tempted to be like, if it's helpless, I just go up and like fully yell at it. But I was like, I can't do it.
Yeah. Well, I think it's good that everybody kind of made the choice to like think about how once again your relationship with the dog like kind of kept you from
going past the
going direct into like violent mode,
so
which
if
was
you
kind
go
of
past
fun.
13,
Can
that's
I
2.
use 100
But it
reward
won't go
points to
past
switch
19, so
ride
it's not 3.
to handle
So since you
amateur?
have
I
2,
feel like
you
it
go
fits
down
the
to
character better.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I'm almost incapacitated.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I glanced
I
at
don't
your
have the
sheet
right
and I was like, okay,
Okay,
she's
well,
not going to be incapacitated.
Oh.
It's close to the end of the night. I'm
4
but
currently as
yeah,
of last.
I forgot by the time
last
we got
time.
here, so I'm glad you brought
Okay.
it up.
How do I get so by the next game I'm still gonna be I'm still gonna be this low?
Yep.
Right.
And sleep will help me.
Sleep
Yes.
will help. Yeah. When you sleep, you restore automatically to unhindered, unless you're in a dangerous area. Then you just heal to Peril.
Okay.
Yeah. Peril's basically imagine like you ran a marathon. Like that's kind of what it is. It restore when you get good rest, you're fine, right? Or like if you're in like a haunted house, if you step away and get take some time to unwind, you're fine. So corruption roll for tonight. The number is 1.
And we're all corrupt.
What's your corruption? What's your corruption value, Sarah?
10.
Yep.
Oh God, yeah. So erase your corruption. You go up 1 step in the K. You give 1 chaos rank.
Yeah.
It's a more fun way to go.
I'm getting pretty chaotic over here.
So last steps. Let's go around the table. Let's start first with Lady Sabella. So
Sabella recognizes she was like a top graduate at the school that she went to and stuff. So she recognizes that she's good at leadership, but at the same time, she knows that she's used to a mentality of like military, which is just do as you're told, and she has to work differently with these guys, which is to like, kind of take everybody's opinion into order. So she's trying to make sure that she does that with every decision. And so she's glad that happened, but then, kind of like the Rufus situation, she's realizing that there's just places she's not going to bend or let somebody else take control of, which is for better or for worse, I guess. So, but she's happy that everybody kind of agreed and let her take charge there instead of trying to fight her on it.
Okay.
So that's where she's kind of, and she's ecstatic that they actually found Rufus and can return him because, as you can guess, she will yell at people and be somewhat less emotional with them, but animals are her weak point.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Fair enough. So 50 reward points for that.
Okay.
I think it's interesting. Like it kind of goes back to like the tension there is like the traditional leader. Like they look for you for a final decision, but you always throw it back at them. It's like, well, it's not just me; it's all of us, and that's important. That's important, especially that conversation with Celsia Turnlip, to ensure that it was like everyone had a say in the in the decision, which is good.
Yeah, and like I said, she realizes that she can't take the full military mentality of I'm your lead in command and everything, and what I say goes. And she's trying to like fight that part of what she was trained as.
Yeah.
And like I said, until she reaches that point where she's like, no, this is what I'm doing. Follow me or don't.
Yeah. Okay. Let's move next to Nick. What about Hiram?
I think Hiram, there was quite a few chances tonight to kind of turn tail and run, but he couldn't seem to like convince everyone to join his cause. This is like, oh, why are we doing this? This just seems like too dangerous or a lost cause or whatever. But he managed to kind of just get dragged along in a couple of cases. But I think he's happy that the dog Rufus came out on the good end of everything.
Yeah. I think it's important to remember too, just as a reminder, like you all have fate points for a reason, right? Like you are clearly not just the people in Slaughterpine. Now granted, that shouldn't be something that should change your mind or your direction
Right.
you go. But I think it's important for us to remember that you are the heroes of the story. So I thought it was interesting that you all turned away from the graveyard. Hiram managed to convince you all of that. That actually worked out pretty well. You got some corruption for it, and of course you got a chaos rank for it. So, granted, the in the night random roll is what it is, but I'd say let's not lose that. Let's not lose who Hiram is, despite the fact that mechanically you are the adventurous heroes of the story. If we're gonna be a little bit more high fantasy in this game, we kind of have to play a little bit more toward that.
Okay.
That's my only kind of thing I would like for us all to think about.
Okay, it's kind of hard for me to get in that mindset because we don't usually play games like
I know,
that.
right?
It's like
So,
I'm like, this is scary. We should try to avoid getting killed. The whole
Hiram's
thing.
the reluctant hero.
Yeah.
Reluctant heroes are fine too, though, right? I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
At least I kind of hopefully helped everyone out by adding a little bit of levity to the situation.
I think it worked out well. I think there's a lot. Don't get me wrong. I'm not criticizing you specifically. This is just a comment for everybody. You are the heroes of the story, and this is a very different game than what we ran before, and that is by design. We sat down in session 0 to talk about the things that we want to see. So we kind of have to lean into some things sometimes, just to see where they go. So food for thought. Doesn't mean the game's any less dangerous and that you should lose a sense of your character's self. Just let's think about these things, what they mean in the context of our characters, because that's going to be important later on. Right? We can't be the... What we can't do is, in previous campaigns past, is be the lackluster, no, we're not going to fucking do that because whatever, we have to, we're all going to have to lean in, and it's going to bend us in some new, interesting directions, because this is not the traditional type of game we run. So, I think it'll be fun. So, let's go next to Mike.
All right.
Lester.
So I feel like Lester isn't smart enough to write the playbook, but so he's not good at creating plans. So when someone's asking for his input, he's like, I don't really have any, but if you got a plan, he'll run with it. He can call an audible if need be, right? Yes. So he can call an audible if he needs to, but otherwise he's just gonna listen to the coach or the offensive coordinator or whoever in this case, the cadet, and be like, all right, well, if that's what they were gonna do, then let's go for it. It's interesting. I'm glad we were able to save Rufus, because I was thinking, I was like, yeah, we could have just probably done him in, but I feel like it's much better for us to have been able to basically convert him back, so that's good. I'm looking forward to seeing how all this pans out with the magic stuff and.
I want to say right now that when this happened, I had no intention of having you friendly him to death.
Yeah.
I was like, I got the stats right here.
I know. I was like,
it's done.
I was like, Lester was gonna try it. If it failed, he would fight. But he was like, I'm gonna give it a shot. And they're like, oh, this is kind of working. Let's keep going with this.
Yeah.
And then it actually worked out. So it was, because I would hate to put him down, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think it's good that everyone cared about the dog.
Yeah.
Right? I'm telling you, and I say this, and I love you all, but it's really hard to get people to care about the story sometimes. And I think creating direct connective tissue to things that are happening in the story to get you to care is smart. And I'm really happy that you all made the choice to friendly the dog to death.
Yeah.
which made sense for the story. It was fun.
Friendly the dog to death.
I told you, kill it with kindness.
We hit it with the Care Bear stare.
You did. You literally killed the hellhound with kindness.
And it returned with friendly fire.
That's right.
Yeah. There's a little friendly fire involved. Yeah.
Yeah. Getting bitten by one of these things is actually pretty bad. I was doing some math. So it has a snarling bite, and whenever it bites, you have to roll. You have to resist to be dragged to the ground. Then it does damage to you. So it's 2d6 plus 4 damage, plus heat 1d10 plus 1, which you can catch on fire from. So if it gets a hold of you and takes you to the ground, it's actually pretty fucking dangerous.
Chewing through the palisade kind of perked that in my head. We should not fight this thing.
Yeah.
This is a bad idea. If we can kill it with kindness, then we should totally do that.
Yeah.
Kill it with kindness or burn. That was kind of what I figured.
It was just for those who love Game Master math stuff. It's a basic risk factor creature, high.
Yeah.
basic high notch. So Sarah Ecclesdov.
Yeah, I mean, this was really emotional for Ecclesdov here, with Rufus. So, coming up on Rufus, I think Ecclesdov was, wary. I think the typical answer for Ecclesdov would be to just, cast some magic and kill something. But instead, Ecclesdov's branded. So she's not super well liked among a bunch of people. But Rufus always liked Ecclesdov, so she just couldn't imagine killing Rufus. So after that was done, then her buddy, who she thought she had this really good relationship with, reveals himself as, in her eyes, kind of a monster a little bit. And so now she's got to deal with, the one person in life that she's befriended has lied to her the whole time. So she's super imperiled right now. So just things are not looking very good for her for the next couple of weeks.
Fair enough. Yeah, 50 reward points. And then finally, Adam for Chuckles, or whoever you decide to reveal your name as later on, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, Chuckles is just he never really wished the dog ill. But yeah, it just kind of annoyed him. And, he just wanted to be left alone. And finally was like, okay, the group is really trying for this. And, he thought, yeah, we were going to have to put it down and do so before it burnt down this holy place. And, he was coming in here thinking that he was going to further disgrace himself because, I won't reveal too much, but yeah, if you take off your wicker mask, it's a sign of disgrace in the Sea Operan Society. So, here he was able to overcome this, and he was able to show some compassion towards this dog, and have everything pretty much work out okay. I mean, just burnt his hand a little bit. And also kind of save this area, maybe hurt it a little more. We'll find out, because he wasn't that religious. So he's finally starting to go, okay, maybe there is something to all of this. And so that's where he felt like he earned the right to make another wicker mask. And so now he is determined that he doesn't really care what anyone in Slaughter Pine thinks. When that mask is finished, he's gonna walk around full-fledged as a Sea Operan. And we'll see what happens with that. Depending on what happens, he may have to put that iron mask back on, but that's not for me to decide how Slaughter Pine reacts to it. So, yeah.
Okay, cool. 50 reward points. Well, I think we're done for the night.
Yeah.
That's the end. Like I said, it's the end of the first kind of part of the game. There's the first quest. We did that in 4 sessions. There's a lot more story ahead of us. That's for sure. And there's a little bit more. Actually, there's a tail end thing, an afterward, if you will, for this specific quest. But we didn't get a chance to cover it tonight. That's okay. That's no big deal. But we'll get to that next time. So, thank you all for watching. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you all next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
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 Wait, isn't it?
We're talking to the.
Not what the.
Yeah, I'm talking to the invisible people.